All right. Yes, I mean, we're still in Black History Month, so that's still important, right?
Yeah, you got some facts for us or some history?
Yeah, Black Wall Street, look it up. What's fucked up about that is I didn't find out about that until I watched fucking Watchmen on HBO. It was like the 100-year anniversary that it aired. So Ron DeSantis wants to say we can't teach Black history in school. I mean, we weren't learning it anyway, apparently. So, like, what's the big deal? So that's your fact for Black History Month. Go check out Black Wall Street, Tulsa. It sucked. They just burned the whole city to the ground. Oh, and then there's also a bunch of towns that are like there's like lakes across America. Those used to be black towns. Some of them. Loch Raven is one here in Maryland. So go look that up too. It's pretty fucking interesting. So
Man, just give me a bunch of homework.
starting off the episode with like positive vibes,
Like,
good news. No, you don't gotta go look it up. I'm telling the listeners to go look it up. I don't give a fuck what you do. Um, so yeah, I think we're on episode 92. So it's the countdown, son. Like we on our way to 100.
and no happy Valentine's.
Man, fuck that day.
It's
The
gonna.
fuck.
This episode's coming out on Valentine's Day.
I guess fuck Valentine's Day, dude. I tried to schedule the record with someone. I didn't even because we don't do Valentine's Day. Our anniversary's on the 3rd. We're like fuck Valentine's Day. I mean, who cares? Um, but like I was typing with someone because I'm old school. I type. I don't text. I was typing with someone. We were supposed to record on Sunday, but I like we're this was a Saturday afternoon. I wasn't sure about the internet yet, so I was like, look, why don't we shoot for? Can we do Tuesday? Before he even answered, I was like, never mind. Nope, never mind. It's Valentine's Day. I was like, not because of me, because other people do it. Like for me, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I think Sarah even said it today when we were talking. She was like, yeah, I'm not really sure what to do for dinner tomorrow. I mean, it's Valentine's. I was like, I mean, we could eat food. That's one thing we could do.
Whatever is for dinner tomorrow, cut it in a heart.
Well, then she was like, well, for Sophie, though, because, Sophie's a holiday kid. She just loves it. If you tell her, if you say to her that Thursday is any kind of bizarre holiday, she gets excited and says, we have to party. And I'm like, you little shit. No. So, yeah. Happy fucking Valentine's Day, y'all. Fuck. All right, there. You're fucking happy. Taking all the shine away from Black History Month, you
Who
cunt.
said y'all? I wanted it to be personalized.
Yeah. Well, it ain't for sure not being
Just me.
personalized.
Uh, we sort of celebrated on the weekend because Tuesday it's not fun to go out.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb.
And we didn't do any. I mean, we went to well, a place we went, the Gaylord, which we had that work event there. So
Yeah.
I hadn't been there since. Um, Pretty cool hotel, the atrium part.
It was a really nice place. I actually really, really like. Just it was like uber nice.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy how big. Like I'm just fascinated looking in that atrium room of like the glass is like. I mean, who knows how tall that is? It's like looks like it's like 20 floors high. Because the inside of the hotel looks like you're outside.
yeah, I
And
remember that one spot we were in. It just feels like, oh, okay,
they have all these plants, and it feels like
yeah.
humid. It's like it feels like you're in a
Well,
different area.
then they have like the hidden club upstairs. So I remember going to
They
the
had a
bathroom
lounge.
and like the urinals. There's the window and you can like look out over the city while pissing.
Oh,
It's like
thanks. Yes, I don't remember. I remember we had a rooftop event, and I
that's
saw
the
there
main thing I remember because I
this
was like, oh my god.
this past weekend there was a rooftop lounge. Um, we went to the sports bar though. That was real cool. I mean, the drinks were kind of expensive, as you can imagine that type of hotel, but they had all types of games you could play there, which was tight. I like games. I like the little trivia games. They had some kind of held game. But then yeah, we just went through a few bars in the area. Saw some drunk guy try to get on a bull. Their bull
Nice.
was more like a cow. It was shaped like a cow. Like,
I think
I mean, they're the
both.
same, but it was white with black spots. I was like, you're not supposed to ride a cow.
Somebody failed that test.
Oh, but this guy was terrible. Like, literally just turned and he fell off and giggling, laughing. It's like, well, he's had a lot to drink and he's having a fun night, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. If you're having a good time, who fucking cares how long you ride
Oh.
a mechanical bull?
Dang, that was aggressively loud.
Yeah,
But,
no shit. Relax, dude. Just say, hey,
There.
another thing.
That particular place gave me the most rotten beer I've had in a long time. Like, it was just so sour.
Give us a score.
It was like that
Give us
ice
a good,
house.
bad,
Well,
ugly.
it was Killian's, which Killian's is not supposed to be sour, so it was bad beer. But I was like,
From the tap? Or?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've had that a few times. Like one I always like Pub Dogs beer, but the last few times I've gone, it's like it tastes like they need to clean the lines on
I'm
the
sure
blonde
they do.
beer. But it reminded me like the Ice House we used to drink because it was the only one, or it was on
was the
sale,
cheapest
and it was
one, yeah.
probably because it went bad.
It was like $3.25 for a pitcher.
So it was like strange. It was like this. If it was a sour beer, it'd be like, oh, this is all right, sour beer. But I was like, Killian's is not a sour. It had a weird aftertaste. But I was like looking up on my phone. Can I get sick from this? Because they could, like, take it back. But I was like, it's taking forever to get their attention. I already drank half of it. If it's not going to kill me, I'm just going to do it. I stopped drinking it, but I drank 3/4 of it. I didn't die, so.
Yeah,
But it was not tasty. It was not a tasty beverage at all.
I mean, maybe you should have tried harder.
I mean, I drank it.
Well, there you go. 3/4 of it. Sounds like it was tasty enough, son. All right. So, so the elephant in the room here is the Super Bowl. So let's go ahead and get into that. For those of you who, if you were fucking living under a rock, the Super Bowl took place this weekend. And I don't know if you noticed, but Philadelphia was playing. I know they don't tend to play in many things because they suck, but they were there. And they didn't suck.
Yeah, and well, Philly's been on a run of losing championships lately.
Yeah.
They've been getting far, and well, they did win a Super Bowl not too long ago.
Well, the Phillies won the World Series a few years back too. So I mean, there you go. But I think this past sports season, with the Phillies lost in the World Series, their soccer team lost, the Eagles. I mean, where are the Sixers looking like right now? Will they make the playoffs?
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs.
All right, then they're going to lose in the finals.
I don't think they'll make the finals.
Nah, they will. Trust me, they will. They'll lose. It's destiny.
They're decent. Well, the East is up for grabs. Boston's the number 1 seed, and they're definitely beatable.
Yeah, by Philly.
You got James Harden and Embiid.
Let's see here. I need to check something else.
Harden's turned into like a true point guard now. Which is pretty good at.
That's another thing I forgot to put here on the board. So yeah, let's get into the Super Bowl talk real quick. So how'd that work out for you?
Well, betting wise, I placed a lot of bets, but luckily I hit my last bet I just placed. That was like, I think it was because it was a weird exact number, $7.38 left. Let me put it all on this parlay, and to my surprise, thinking I'd have zero in my account, I at least hit that, which was a decent amount because on a $7 bet it was like $57.
Nice.
Too bad
It's not
that's
terrible.
the one I bet like $50 on. I'd be pretty happy. But yeah, like everything. So I even picked both teams to win, like in different scenarios. I was just wrong on everything. Did not think Mahomes would only pass for less than 200 yards. Didn't think Hurts was going to pass more
so he
than
got the
300
MVP.
yards. He did have 3 touchdown passes.
Don't give a fuck.
I think, yeah.
Well, hey,
No one had stats better than that, really, on the Chiefs. Hurts would have easily won the MVP.
So the Cowboys back in whichever Super Bowl they lost, they had a fucking MVP on the losing team. Why not?
Yeah,
why can't Hurts get
well,
the MVP?
I guess
son?
he fumbled, and then
he
he
fumbled.
ended the game with his 20-yard Hail Mary.
Oh my god, he made it that far.
That should look funny. Like, man,
Yeah,
that's how we ended. Did he?
but still, that shouldn't negate
But yeah,
the rest of his
he had
performance.
300 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 3 rushing touchdowns. It's pretty beast.
Sounds
If
like
you
a
had him
hell
in
of a game.
fantasy, you were winning.
Oh yeah. So I was just looking at the NHL standings because I want to see if the Flyers are going to make the playoffs because I want to see them get to the finals and lose too. I'm all in on Philadelphia going to the championships and losing now. You know why? Because I hate their fans and they deserve to lose. So, but the players, they deserve the win.
Yeah, I like a lot of the Eagle players. I like
Yeah,
AJ Brown. I like he had a good game. But I like Hurts. Although that Hail Mary, he got like if we had a beer review, he lost like 2 points on that.
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
Madden might have to adjust his arm strength to 68.
I don't
Maybe.
know. Maybe it slipped too. We don't know. Like we weren't there on the field, but that was kind of like, oh my god. And that's something I feel like something happened there because, I mean, he's been in the league long enough. You wouldn't try. It's not like, oh well, we know you don't have the arm strength. This is like for the at least overtime. Go for the Hail Mary. They would have gone for something else. So I think something fucking goofy happened. Maybe he just didn't have a good grip. I don't fucking know. I mean, because he wasn't pressured. Like, he was alone. But still.
Then we got Mahomes limping off the field, and then suddenly later in the game runs like he has no injury.
Well, they changed the script at halftime. They told him at halftime, look, we're going to change the script. We want you guys to win.
Well, the supposed leak script, Philly was supposed to win by 3, so yeah, they might have reversed
Maybe
it.
somebody read it wrong.
Or because it came out, everyone bet that way, so now they did switch it.
They catch a bitch.
But yeah, well, so the spread was, I think, just 1.5 points. So if you bet on Philly, you lost. And if you took Kansas City, you're probably pretty happy.
But in Philly was the favorite, right?
Yeah, just by like, I think it got down to 1.5.
Which is weird. I don't know. Because, like,
I found that weird. That's what made me do the Kansas City bets the day of the game. Like
Yeah.
I wanted Philly, but I was like, why is Kansas City not favored? They've already won a Super Bowl. They have the more experience. They have Patrick Mahomes, probably the best quarterback in the league by far. And now he's 2 weeks to heal from that injury. You have Kelsey. Like the spread. I don't feel like should be in Philly's favor and then we didn't see them play anyone good in the playoffs.
no.
We saw them play the Giants and then San Francisco with. I could have played quarterback probably better than Purdy at that point.
I mean,
He did throw the ball once. I think he threw a 1-yard pass.
no. Yeah, I mean, he was hurt. So.
I think he said that there was a soundbite of like McCaffrey or someone saying, "Can you throw with your left hand?" It's probably Kittle. It's like, no,
Yeah,
man.
probably Kittle. Because there was like the press conference afterward. It was like, something about what's it like to lose because you don't have a quarterback. Well, it was like we feel like shit. It sucks. So it's like,
I think he played in the Pro Bowl, didn't he? Because a lot of the players, when they lose that close, they're all better and disappear. I think Burrow didn't play.
I mean, I don't even know what the was it a Pro Bowl like flag this year? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which I would rather. I didn't see it. I heard it wasn't terrible, but I'd rather
flag is
see
fine.
that than what they were doing with the offensive line just standing there.
Yeah, that's dumb. I mean,
And then you got
have
players
fun
once
with
in a
it.
while take a hit. Like it's just like the preseason where some are trying, some aren't. Someone's gonna get hurt.
Then you have to remind Sean Taylor that this is the Pro Bowl. We're friends here. This is not a playoff game. Do not kill the punter. And I mean, I guess he forgot.
Yeah. Then that was that around when at one point they were playing for. No, what was it? Which sport was it that they actually tried to make the world? Was it baseball where the World Series would be played at?
Yeah, if you won the All Star game, like if
You
the
would
AL
be
wins it, then the AL representative will get home field advantage, which I think is goofy. Like I
Yeah,
only
for an All-Star, I mean, I do like how it motivates them, but I just still think they probably weren't.
look, man.
That motivated.
If I'm on the Detroit Tigers and I make the All Star game, but my team is shitty like the Tigers usually are, I don't give a fuck. It's like, oh, word. So I'm trying to play so the Yankees can get home field advantage. Fuck that. Fuck the Yankees. As a matter of fact, I'm striking out on purpose. Fuck those guys. So, yeah, the Super Bowl. I mean, Philly was in pretty good control.
Yeah, for the most part, I think
Yeah.
they dominated. Just Hurts had a bad turnover. Kansas City had that good punt return.
I mean, that turnover though was like in the first half though. I mean, like basically the second half, it was like basically Philly. I think Kansas City scored on every possession they had, and Philly scored a field goal. Like something goofy. It's like, okay, like come on, dude. Like, and I always feel like whenever things like that happen, though, because with Matt Ryan with the Colts, uh, losing, then everybody's like, well, Matt Ryan has lost twice now, after having a huge lead, and it's like, well, I mean, if you put up 30 some odd points, or no matter what, if you put up X amount of points, I mean, you did your job.
But yeah, they dominated time of possession. They had the ball way more. Like I'm just
Yeah,
looking to third downs. Kansas City was 4 for 8. Freaking Philly was 11 for 18.
Jesus. Yeah, because I remember like in the second half, that's when they said something about like, let's see if they can convert the first third down conversion here, or yeah, and they got it, but that's when Kansas City was on like a hell of a roll at that
But
point.
yeah, another big thing though is Kansas City did not get sacked once.
I mean, that's big.
Yeah,
Um,
Philly's D line's been dominating. Um,
I mean, Mahomes moved pretty well too. I mean, Kansas City's O line did well. Mahomes, moved just well enough to avoid, sacks and getting rid of the ball at the right time.
yeah, he had
Kansas
low
City,
yardage for him, but he was efficient. 21 for 27, 3 touchdowns.
yeah, they didn't have any turnovers.
And the controversial call of the holding. It was holding. It's ticky tack, but at the same time, I'm more of a fan of just making rules black and white. I don't like the judgment calls.
Well, so even
Because then it's like if you were Kansas City, you'd be throwing a fit. It
well,
was
yeah.
holding. So
So and the thing is though too, dude who committed the penalty said he was like, yeah, it was holding. I was hoping they let it go, but they didn't. And like everyone kept focusing on the hip, which I mean, I guess that definitely affected him. But he pulled his jersey. I
he
mean,
pulled his really kind of hide his arm too for a second.
because that's what I was looking at. I was like, the jersey
But
was the holding
also, I
part.
mean, it is a penalty, and I think I don't know for sure, but the way Mahomes reacted, I think Mahomes saw it, threw it that way on purpose, and threw it so it was uncatchable, just knowing that it was going to be a penalty. Because he immediately was running and pointing at the dude, holding, holding, holding. And
Yeah,
that's something like Aaron Rodgers does. As soon as he sees the penalty, he's just going to throw it deep and see what happens.
I mean, that's good awareness. That's what I would call
Got
that.
99 awareness.
Yeah, I mean, you see it there, do it. Because you mentioned it, during the game, sometimes those offensive, or defensive penalties will happen, and the play still goes. And Aaron Rodgers is the king of that. He'll see it and he's like, okay, well, look, it's pretty much a free play. I'm just going to throw the ball up. It's either a touchdown or we're going to get to redo it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, those plays have so heavily in the offensive favor to be able to do that.
Of course.
Because why don't we do it the other way? Just keep playing, and defense just goes all out, stops covering everyone. Let's just all out blitz this dude. We know that dude was false start.
I mean, I don't know. The game in itself, I mean, it's like when I think back to it, because even when we were watching it, they got to a point, even though, I mean, Kansas City making the comeback, I mean, it's exciting, but for some reason it felt very lackluster.
Yeah, this particular Super Bowl, because it was a good game, but it was
Yeah.
just like there was no type of rivalry.
Everybody was friendly. No one was shit talking.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City tried to play the narrative. Everyone doubted us. Like, nah, y'all been the favorite since the beginning for the most part. I think maybe Buffalo was at the beginning.
It was
but
Buffalo and Kansas City.
City's up there. Mahomes already won a few MVPs. He's already won a Super Bowl. Who the hell's doubting y'all?
Yeah, it's like, shut up. Like, you want to play the victim. Like, grow up.
Man, freaking Hurts got drafted and the whole city booed him.
I mean, yeah, if anything, that's the person who should be like, we were doubted. And Mahomes.
I don't even think he was one of. Yeah, at the beginning of this year, there was all types of talk of Hurts not being the guy there.
Yeah. But that's Philly. That's how they do. I mean, credit to Mahomes though. He was saying in the press conference though too. Hats off to Jalen Hurts. He played a hell of a game, and there should be no doubt about this dude. But Philly, they gonna doubt him. All the fans gonna doubt him next year. They're gonna be like, oh, during the drafting, like, yo, trade up to get a number one pick.
They wanted originally. Dumb. They didn't like that he was gonna take over for Carson Wentz. Y'all want to go back to Carson Wentz?
It's like, y'all can have him back.
We can trade him back. I'll take Hurts.
It's cool. I'm sure it'll be all right. It'll be friendly.
But yeah, and then I guess what else? The halftime show.
halftime show.
That I saw more posts about that than the game today.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's like what we live in though now is people more people are concerned about the halftime show and commercials. Fewer people care about the game. Like even like people who are there for football. It's like who's the halftime show? It's like who cares? Because I mean, it's funny the year that the Janet Jackson titty incident happened. Um, like the year before that, I should say. There, everyone's like, "Oh, who cares about the halftime show? Nobody watches it." Then next thing you know, Janet Jackson's titty pops out, and everyone's crying. Oh my god, kids were watching this, and everyone was watching this, and oh my god, she was exposed. You act like y'all never seen a titty before, yo. Chill, shut up. Like, goddamn. But this one, I mean, Rihanna's pregnant. That was her coming out to the world, letting us know she's pregnant.
Thanks.
Um,
I was worried.
like, yeah, like I don't know why it matters, but you know, that's the thing though. To some of those fucking people, it does matter because people are like, "Oh my
yeah, 'cause
god!"
now that gave her some bonus points.
Yeah.
She did all that while pregnant.
I mean, no, that's a thing though. I mean, I'm
Been like, what else? Poor timing. She knew she was doing the Super Bowl.
I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, but still, people get pregnant. You know, shit happens. People fuck, and people don't pull out. Sometimes I do. 23 years, only got one. What's up now? My plow game is tight, son. Like skeet all over the back. But like with you know the whole Rihanna thing, yeah, I mean that's impressive still. You know, first off, being raised up on that fucking thing that high without fucking throwing up, being pregnant. I mean, pregnant bros be throwing up all over the place, yo. They just be like they'll blink and just throw up. I don't think it's that bad, but still. But even still, it's like you know all the complaints were like, oh, like how dare she do that? You know, she's pregnant. It was like, who cares? She's pregnant. People get pregnant. You know who else was pregnant? A bunch of other broads who got fucked. That's who else was pregnant. But as far as halftime shows and ranking them, probably closer to the bottom, closer to one of the ones I didn't care about.
Yeah, I feel like I won't remember this. I mean, the only thing I kept thinking was it reminded me of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
The platform.
yeah, Smash Brothers. Yeah, that's what I kept thinking. Like when it started, I was like, "Are they playing Super Smash Brothers? What the fuck's about to go on here?" I mean, also to be fair, like I'm not really a Rihanna fan.
Yeah,
I might
it's
know
not
a Rihanna song, maybe two.
That's how it is most of the. I mean, I almost feel like the halftime performance is more for the women.
Well, for the women and you know, people who just because there are a bunch of cats who they don't care about football, but they want to be part of that
Yeah, it's not
cooler
for the
talk.
male football fan.
Yeah.
Really.
I can't like has there been a halftime show like just off top that you could think was like, oh shit. I mean, even last year's maybe, but not really. I mean, I know like last year because it was like Dre, 50 Cent, all them.
That
You-
might have been the most. I, mean,
there
I
was
remember they did the Rolling Stones. That was terrible because they were just so old at that point.
they're still so.
Like really old
Oh.
looking though. But that's not. I wouldn't say it's a football.
Yeah.
Today's football fans' music. But yeah, the Dr. J one's probably the most close.
Yeah, it's the closest one, and even with that, that was being said like, oh no, this is for Gen X, and it's like I guess, you know, because there are a lot of younger people complaining, and it's like, oh, sit down, kid, this isn't for you, you know, this is for us, and I feel like most halftime shows though is kind of that way. To I know when they did NSYNC, Britney Spears and Aerosmith, that was kind of a good mixture of like old and new, but otherwise it's usually just like, look, like for the most part, the halftime show wasn't even really a fucking thing. It was like, okay, a halftime show, cool, and now it's become this production, and the performers have to pay. It's not even like they're getting paid to do this. Like what they get paid is like free publicity. And it's not
I
even
saw
free.
something today of
pay.
like
It says
I mean
something
their
free.
sales will obviously take a big boost. I think Lady Gaga's went up the most like afterwards. They're like
I can
showing
see
like
that.
so and so was like 300% streams went up. The next person was like 280, and then Lady Gaga's was something like 1,000% difference.
I can see that though. I mean, and it's weird though because I feel like Lady Gaga, it wasn't like she wasn't popular before, but I think she's one of those artists where it's like she's on people's radars, but you don't really know it. And then you see something like, oh, the halftime performance. Because I think like I didn't stream her like after the halftime show, or like you. I know like over recent years, just as I'm fucking around with music and like listening to a bunch of different songs, like, oh, let me listen a little bit more to Lady Gaga. Oh yeah, she was a halftime show. Oh, now I remember. But I didn't listen to more Katy Perry afterwards. I looked at more Katy Perry after the halftime show. I didn't really listen to her. She was a pretty girl. She used to be a country singer, I think, or a Christian singer, and like a lot of those bras got mad when she
She's
like went
still
pop.
really short hair. Last time I saw her,
I
she
mean,
was
hair
like
grows
really,
back, Steve.
really
I
short.
don't know if you know that hair grows back.
I know that, but then isn't she like a blonde now, like really short?
I think that was like 3 years ago,
Oh
dude.
dang.
Like she could have decided that she really liked it and kept it, but that was 3 years ago, homie. And I think she was like all like cracked out and
Does
shit.
that
Like,
mean Pink doesn't have pink hair anymore?
no, she's supposed to have pink hair. Her name is Pink.
I know, but I think she had black hair last I saw her.
That's tight. I can dig it. Why don't you go black? You don't go back to pink.
Never mind.
Yeah, she's
She seems like
she
that
seems the
type, but I don't think that's who she was married to.
Nah, Corey. I
'Cause,
think she was married
the
to Corey Hart.
BMX guy
Yeah.
or motocross.
Yeah, I think
One
they
of
had
those
like
types.
they had like an open relationship. It
Oh,
was,
that's why.
like it was like really weird because it was like really, like that's wild. That's our thing. It was like maybe I got a shot, but I'm scared. I'm kind of scared of Pink though. I mean, because she just seems the type that would like beat the shit out of me,
She looks like she would cut you.
and I'm kind of into that. But I don't know, like, but when it becomes reality, I'm not into it then because it's
I
like,
think she'll be the dominant one too.
yeah, I
in
think
the
she would try to fuck me. She would pull out her dick and hit me with it, and I'd be like, Pink, what are you doing?
tie you up.
Nah, I don't even think she would tie me up, yo. I think she would just like punch me and be like, you gonna take this. And I'm gonna be like, afterward, I'm gonna call my grandma. Like, I need to get out of this relationship. Like, what are you talking about? So, no, I'd be making some weird shit, like scenarios up in my mind, dude. Like, just weird. All right, so we got halftime.
Well, let's review this beer real quick.
Yeah, let's get through this beer. I don't got a lot on the board because I don't feel good.
Sorry, not sorry. I think we've done something similar name wise.
Maybe.
There was another beer called this, but this is a peach IPA, which I remember we had a few and they were never good. And I feel like this one was done pretty decently. But it's by Evil Genius, and they claim we took a bright, full-bodied IPA, dry hopped it with blah blah blah. We don't even know about the hops because we don't even know what they are. And girl, we
Girl,
are
you
totes
know
not
it's
sorry
true.
we did, girl. Damn, is this beer for girls?
Ooh, of you. Sorry, got that Milli Vanilli hit.
I feel like reading this can makes this beer was for women.
Didn't taste
But
like
then we
it.
said, and girl, we are totes not sorry we did, girl.
I think they just like write in that way. Like,
But
totes.
yeah, we got hashtag sorry not sorry. But yeah, it's peach IPA.
Hmm.
Evil Genius.
All right, cool. So
6.7.
6.7.
Which
It's not
is-
hateful. That's pretty
yeah.
pretty decent. I thought it was tasty. I'm limited on my drinking right now, but based off taste and the 6.6, I like this a lot. I will buy this. I'm gonna give it a 7.3.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I was on the fence. I went with 6.9, but I'm good with that because that's going to put it in the sevens because I think it is something I would buy. It's just I was like, we've had like stuff similar to this with a bit more punch.
Dude, I'm starting to wonder, am I getting too generous with my sevens?
No, you're still most. I mean, I think most of our scores are probably in the sixes, high sixes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We're right on the 7 borderline, but it's also because we like tasty beverages that
yeah.
with strong alcohol.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your alcohol is weak, you're gonna get a weak score, bitch.
And this is going to be hit or miss.
All right, I hate when you say that too. Oh man, come on, man, my stomach hurts, and I'm just looking at this like, man, I feel like I might want to get into this.
Yeah, we got basically. I mean, not to give it away, but Neapolitan stout. So
I
could
don't
be
know.
good, could be bad.
Oh,
I know
I'm
you don't
looking
like
at
the
it.
color.
Oh, that looks like fucking motor oil.
But are we gonna have?
Oh.
This would have been a good one to have our mug freshly frozen. If it's
Yeah,
gonna be
I
ice
think
cream
so.
flavored.
I'm not thinking about that. Oh, 7.5. All right, I feel
Yeah.
you. I
The
can't
can
get,
looks alright.
I can't get too much into it just because my stomach, but I'm gonna get enough. The smell is pretty
Yeah, I
decent.
feel like it could be good because Some stouts are all right.
I've only had one, but you know.
We did a few on here.
Oh no, I know we've done a few, but I've only had one that I felt like I was into. Mm. It actually tastes like the ice cream.
Oh shit!
It
This
tastes
tastes
just
way
like.
better. Like I thought. Actually, when I said it was gonna be hit or miss, I was probably thinking it was going to be more miss.
All right. So, oh my god, I might actually.
This is really
Hold up,
smooth.
hold up, hold up, hold
Oh,
up,
this
hold up.
is dangerous as hell.
Pause. I gotta pause for a minute. All right, sorry folks. I thought I was gonna have to throw up, but I did. It's like it's weird because now I'm sitting back down, and it's back. But the beer, I mean, I'm not crazy about the stout and the chocolate like kind of flavor into it, but it does taste just like the fucking Neapolitan ice cream.
It's not overly sweet and overpowering taste, which could have made it a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like right on the cusp. It's like you know you're drinking a beer, but it has a hint
It's
of
like
like all three of the flavors kind of mixed together.
almost like a milkshake with freaking 7.5% alcohol.
Which is weird because I'm not into that kind of shit, but
Yeah, I'm not either. But
I
this
think
one's
I would
done
be
pretty
into
well.
this.
This one's done very well.
Yeah.
Duclaw's had some hit or misses. They did good job on this one.
Good for you guys, Duclaw.
Is there still Duclaws around? I know there's not the one in the Rundle Mills anymore.
I believe so. Oh, that one's not there anymore? Oh, yeah, because, I was
It's
out
like
there
a
recently.
yard house now.
That's trash.
It's. I went there not too long ago. The food wasn't all that great.
So I was correct.
We
It's
had a
trash.
gift card.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, what was the one spot I went to? I wanted to take you out to, not like on a date or nothing. That shit is weird.
Valentine's.
Yeah, keeping it romantic. World of Beer out in Owens Mills. So it was pretty decent. It wasn't fucking fantastic. Nothing great about it. But it's like I just called World of Beer. So it's like let's go. It's called World of Beer. If it was called like World of like burgers, I'd still go because of burgers. But I wouldn't be that pressed. I'm like, son, I had burgers before. I've had beer before too, but because that's where I had the sour monkey at, which was delicious.
Oh yeah, I forgot we went by Friday. We went to my first time to what's the one in Laurel? Jailbreak.
Jailbreak.
Pretty good place. We only had I think we each had one beer and then split a beer. We were just passing some time that night. But they have one beer I always liked. We never reviewed it on here. Was Big Punisher. They always it goes away and comes back. It's weird because that was like one of the first strong IPAs I had, and when I say strong, it was like 8.5, which at the time seemed really strong. Now, like nowadays, it's not really that strong anymore. That was like the first IPA that I think I liked. It has a pretty bitter aftertaste, but something about it like amps you up, like it wakes you up. And I know with volleyball, a few people feel the same way when they drink Big Punisher. But they had it on tap. I don't think you can buy it in cans anymore.
All right, so if I have to throw up, you know where it's going.
Then you have a reason to get rid of that bag.
Yeah, fuck that bag. Although it does keep the mugs cool, keeps things cool. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so last week was the Grammys, I guess, and we didn't get the memo that I guess one of the performances there's a lot of I guess complaining and angry like Christians because they're saying there's devil worshiping going on at the Grammys. See, people, it's right there in your face because Sam Smith did his one song Unholy. I guess the artist that he did the collaboration with is a trans woman, trans person, trans artist. I don't know, transatlantic. But I only ever hear anything now music wise through Instagram and TikTok because people make videos, make reels, make whatever, and they'll whatever song is there. So I heard the song, I was like, oh, that's a shit from Instagram. Like I've used that before, and then I listened to it, I was like, oh, this song isn't terrible. Why is everybody so mad? I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a very nice song. It doesn't sound very family friendly. And then you look at the performance, and it's like, ooh, it's a little shaky. But I don't know. I thought it was okay. I mean, I also don't really fucking care. You know, I don't get upset about those things. Because, like, I sent the video to Sarah about people complaining. And then, like, the next day, like, I get home and she's like, oh my God. Like, you see that performance at the Grammys? I was like, oh, you're one of them now? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Pun intended. It's like, relax. It's like everybody, like, gets upset about these goddamn award shows and their performances. It's like, it's like Madonna back when she did the Like a Virgin performance on the VMAs. It's like, you know, motherfuckers forget. Like, this shit has been going on for years. All types of wild performances have been going on for years. I mean, and Madonna's usually at the forefront of most of them back in the day. I mean, apparently she, like, turned herself into the Saw puppet now. So, like, her face is all fucked up in, like, plastic surgery. I think, like, they showed a picture of her last year, probably, like, post-op, and she was all swollen. I guess what they saw at the Grammys was, like, the final, like revelation of it or some shit. It's like, God damn, dude. I mean, it was like Madonna did Like a Virgin performance. There was a lot of uproar about that, and you know, again, we were kids, so we didn't really fucking get it. It was just like, oh, cool, look at this lady in a wedding dress rolling around on the floor. The floor's dirty. Ew. You know, then she did years later. I know she got in trouble when she did like a bow, and they're like, look, if you do the masturbation scene from this performance, we're going to arrest you. They're like, okay. That didn't stop her. Fuck y'all. And then she did the performance with Britney and Christina where she kissed them, and it's like,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
so it's like, you know, there's always like a performance that like every year, it's like someone's getting upset about. I mean, maybe this was a little far because it was the imagery at least was kind of like, probably because of the red lights. But I mean, if you don't like it, don't look at it. And if people complain, oh, my kids were up and seeing this, then maybe you should have had your kids in fucking bed. That shit wasn't on at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It was on after 9, you dummy. Like, you know, I think people just like to have shit to fucking be angry about, which is kind of why I have podcasts, so I can come here and be angry about them being angry. But it's like, it's always, you know,
The anti-social social club.
yeah, I'm into that too. You know, but it's like, you know, it's like, okay, they went out there to express themselves. They put on this performance. I mean, nobody got hurt. I mean, what's the one dude, Miguel? At one of maybe it was VMAs, he went to jump over the platform and landed on a fan's head. And it was like, I mean, I didn't hear anybody whine about that. I mean, somebody got hurt. You know, the Source Awards when the fight broke out. I mean, it's like, but then they want to get upset at a gay dude and a trans person, you know, with red lights on them. Like, ooh, we need church back in school. Which I'm down if they, you know, like, get prayer back in school. Like, can we get, like, Church of Satan? Like, you know, they're always talking about we need church back in school. It's like, well, which one? Like, which religion do you want in there?
Do they still say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I don't know. I don't go to school,
Kids
Steve.
start kneeling.
I don't know. I haven't gone to school in years, Steve. My daughter doesn't go either. We don't do the Pledge of Allegiance at home for homeschooling.
You should be.
But apparently, Donald Trump's son is Eric. Yeah, it seems like your name is fucking bitch ass kid Eric. No offense to Erics out there, I love you all, but like if your name is Eric Trump, you're fucking Trump, son. But like he was on this fucking radio show talking about, yeah, like every morning we get up at 6:30 and we start the day off with a prayer, and then we'll have breakfast, and then we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's like, shut the fuck up. No, you don't.
That's what I was saying. We still do the Pledge of Allegiance. Kind of pretty culty.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's extremely culty.
Let's all stand up, put our hands on our hearts, and no one even is paying attention to what's being said. You just have to say it.
Yeah. Oh, and then don't forget they did change it, and they added under God, like later. And, you know, because it had been around for a long time. I think sometime in the 50s they added under God, maybe 53. Because I know that like around then is when they added In God We Trust on the money too. So it's like, so all these people are like, oh my God, it's a Christian nation. Like we've always had God in our Pledge of Allegiance and on our money. I guess. Like probably for as long as you've been alive, yeah, but Like shit happened before you were alive. I always have to remind my daughter that there was a world before she was born.
And I mean, also like there's progress.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been a lot of things in history that you want to be traditional. You want to live to 30 still.
I mean, like what's his name, the Liver King, like he's like, well, you got to do these things, which he's not completely
Oh yeah.
wrong, but it's
Yeah,
like,
his ancestor. Like, listen, my first thought on that was like, people didn't live very long
well,
back
yeah,
then. So it
well,
was like,
so not just that though, yeah, that it's like, yeah, dude, I mean, people are dying at like 30 and 45 and shit like that. Not a good look. But like, I guess what he was getting at was like all the like medicines and shit and like pharmaceutical shit that we take into our body. I was like, I get where you're going with that. It's because
meanwhile, he was shooting himself up.
yeah,
Everything
it's
you
like
can.
we shouldn't be taking like medicines and
Damn.
pharmaceuticals. And then he turns around and
I
like,
just
hey,
thought of
did my steroids come in? My $10,000 worth of steroids come in today?
think how many men ate freaking balls because of this guy.
Dude, dude. So right after all that
Damn,
went
I'd be
down,
pissed.
right after all that went down,
Because he made it seem very believable.
he went on the Andrew Schultz. He went on Flagrant One with Andrew Schultz, and they were talking about. I had to turn it off because as you're listening to it, like it started off kind of like talking about, he was apologizing and everything. It was like, okay, and they were like, but at any point while doing this, because you knew you were wrong, like, you know, at what point, does the apology really, matter? Because you're only apologizing because you got caught. Like you weren't apologizing 2 weeks ago when this was still like hidden.
Yeah,
And
I mean, he went all out too.
yeah, this
I
dude
mean,
like
and he
tons of
did
fucking
make it
things.
seem believable because it's like this dude is super ripped and fit, and it's like, what is he doing that's so different? Oh, he's eating all these balls, testicles, and raw
Liver.
liver. Like, oh, maybe there is some kind of weird thing with that. And it's like, nope, none of that was gonna help you, especially eating testicles.
So on that podcast, they're like, look, I think it's only fair since you made a bunch of people eat balls, you should eat a cupcake here on air. He was like, absolutely not. No, I refuse. It's like, you little bitch. It's like one fucking cupcake. Not even, like, take a bite. He's like, no, absolutely not. It's like I don't know. I I had to turn the fucking thing off because then he started going into the sob story about how his dad wasn't around and he got bullied as a kid and trying to deflect from the fact that again you were taking steroids and lying to millions of people and essentially stealing from them and now here
And
we are.
doing that whole interview with his shirt off.
Yeah, yeah, and doesn't wear deodorant because that's part of the whole chemical thing too. Is like wearing deodorant because they were pointing that shit out at, on the episode. They're like, "Damn, dude, you
Yeah, this
stink."
dude's breath, I imagine, just if you're eating freaking balls and fucking liver
And probably not
and
using
not
toothpaste.
showering and wearing those big ass boots to go do your fake hunts.
Yeah, then it's coming to question if like the abs that he has, like,
Oh yeah, he's had them the
like
surgery too. I think he admitted to that too, like the etching where you make them pop out even more.
I haven't heard that one yet, but I'm not shocked because I mean, it's like, come on, dude.
But yeah, and then it balloons out, which is a sign of the steroid.
Yeah, you fucking loser.
That's my excuse. Yeah, I've been using steroids. That's why I got a gut.
I've just been eating fucking pastries. Oh yeah, that
Now we
one
got a
chick.
pastry beer.
That one chick in the black over there, she did. She's done meth, so
They had
you
the
know she's not gonna get killed.
see it on at the bar we were at. But it was kind of I was playing pool, so it was tough to follow. But I put up some few small bets, and basically every favorite I picked lost.
Yeah, I have that on here briefly just because
It's like,
we'll
God
talk
damn.
about it a little bit. Because I didn't watch the event because like the prices went up. It's just like 84 some shit now, and like my neighbors they'll usually come over and watch the fights. And it's like, look, man, I'm not ordering. Like I'm probably ordering like 3 fights this year, and I gotta like be real selective. Like the next fight is John Jones, his return, and I'm like, do I want to order that? It's like, let me see what else is on the card. Valentina Shevchenko's fighting Alexa Grasso. Like, maybe because I like to watch Valentina fights, but $84, dude. I don't know, man. and then the card after that is another big card in March. There's going to be two cards in March. So it's like, nope, nope. Like normally their big cards are July 4th, the November card, and usually the Super Bowl card tends to be pretty decent. This one, I mean, they didn't really promote it very well, at least initially. But it was basically the featherweight champion, who's the number one pound for pound on UFC's rankings, and then the new lightweight champion, who I guess skyrocketed to number two. He only like just won the belt. He wasn't on the rankings before, so sometimes I'm like, yo, UFC, your ranking fucking system's stupid. Like, I think they just finally started moving Connor down out of the rankings. Like, I think he's like maybe ranked number 12 now. Because like he's not fighting, he's inactive. Like, why would he still be number 4? And not only that, I think he's lost like 4 out of 5. So, like, get your shit together. Because I think it's like a bunch of different like sports writers vote on it, and that's still faulty. Because you got some people who they like, hey, so you're gonna be on this committee to vote. Okay, cool. They just do it just to do it. They don't even know what the fuck they're voting on. They're just looking at it. Oh, I know Conor McGregor. I'm gonna give him a vote for number 1. Like, no, he like the only fight that he's won in the last however many years was Cowboy. Like, he beat Nate. He lost to Nate. He beat Nate. Then he had the Cowboy fight, and then he's lost every fight since Cowboy. Say no, fuck off. And I think what is that, three fights? Yeah, Khabib and 2 with Dustin. And then he's scheduled to coach the Ultimate Fighter. I guess to bring that back again, which I've always liked the show. Like for the fights, I don't really like it for like all the in-house drama. Who cares? It's like, here's our shot at the reality TV circuit, which that's what put UFC kind of back on the map after so many years being gone with Forrest Griffith and Stephen Bonner. But it's going to be Connor coaching against Michael Chandler, and then they're going to have a fight at some point. I don't know when it's supposed to start and when the fight's supposed to be, but that could be a fun fight. That could be interesting, because Connor has taken himself out of the USADA pool. He looks a little juicy out there.
He's just swallowing.
Yeah, bee stings, tons of bee stings, I guess. Eating tons of liver and testicles.
The King diet.
But when he comes back, he'll fight Michael Chandler, and we'll see how that goes. Chandler is a good wrestler and he hits hard, so we'll see how that goes. Because it's like on one note, it's like it's about time they like let him fight some of these guys that have been like chomping at the bit to fight this dude, because I don't want to compare Conor to Ronda in style, but I will compare them in stardom. Where it's like it's a name, and the UFC recognizes that, so they can almost kind of pick what they want to do. Whereas like Ronda was getting all these like kind of underhand pitch fights, where it's like, oh, why don't you put her in there with Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm, and you're only giving her fights like, and that's not to say that Sarah McMahon and Alexis Davis weren't tough fights. Those are tough fights, but again, it's like there are women that are in the top 3 that you're intentionally keeping her away from. Then the whole Cyborg argument, she's like, well, if Cyborg wants to fight me, she has to come to 135. Knowing good and goddamn well that Cyborg can't make 135. So it's like, well, why not 145? Cyborg can clearly make that. You cut down to make 135. I mean, let's see, let's do it. And like, no. And she even said in an interview very early on, she was on Joe Rogan before she got into UFC, and the talk about the Cyborg fight was happening when she was in Strikeforce. And she had even said it, like, Cyborg wants to fight me now, and I'm at the beginning of my career. The best bet for me would be to wait as long as I can to fight Cyborg. And she was right, I mean, in a business sense, that's the best move. But, like, if you're like, I want to fight the best of the best, it's like, fuck it, let's do it. But yeah, basically UFC helped her avoid all the big fights. And then when he threw her in there with Holly Holm, I think it was one of those things where apparently she called Holly Holm out. And I think UFC also thought, Holly didn't look too impressive in her first 2 fights, so let's just feed her to Holly, and then we'll probably have another Miesha Tate fight. Meanwhile, skipping over Amanda Nunes. Because before Holly got her shot, I was like, I think Amanda Nunes deserves it. She's won 6 in a row. But they're just giving her, they like put her in there with Betch Correa, who was ranked number 9, because Betch knocked out one of Ronda's friends in the fight. And it was like, so that's all you got to do to get a title shot now is beat up the champion's friend? Like, damn, this is like WWE. So,
WWE.
but
I think the Miz is playing in the NBA All Star game,
I can't
which I'm
wait.
confused.
I
Is
can't
he
wait.
going to be good? I think.
No.
Oh, I think
He's from
Calvin
Ohio.
Johnson's in it.
Hmm.
Maybe his ankle's healed up.
It's not.
He's going to be high as shit.
I hope.
And what's his name? I think the way it was lined up, it seemed like when they were announcing the two teams, they were kind of matching people up and matched up versus Calvin Johnson. I would assume it's Megatron. Maybe there's another Calvin Johnson I'm not aware of.
There isn't. There's only one.
Was DK Metcalf, which I know that dude probably dunks easily.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in a basketball game, I'm surprised he doesn't have something in his contract. Like, you get hurt.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a friendly outing, though, too. It's not going to be like a play hard. And it's not like it's going to be, up there playing at Gateway. It's like.
I was talking about that today of just trying to. I was watching some of the Denver game earlier. I was just explaining to Bay of like. I think first off, a thing flashed on the screen of who you're picking as your MVP in the NBA. And it was like 4 names. And Luka's not one of them. I was like, I don't understand this. Luka's stats are absolutely absurd. How is he not one of the top 4? I thought he would win the MVP this year. But regardless, I was like, him and Jokic are 2 of the best players in the NBA. And they're kind of, they're both white, which is kind of silly. But
I don't think it's silly that they're white. I think that's how they were born.
We didn't have.
They were born white.
Before.
It's not silly.
We didn't have a good player since Larry Bird.
Jason Williams.
Yeah, he was pretty overrated. He could do some.
I didn't say he was good.
Street ball.
I'm just saying. Like,
I was looking at his numbers and they're quite disappointing.
No, he was just,
even his assist totals weren't all that.
Like he was just good at like flashy passes and
exactly.
I mean the highlight reel.
The highlight reel was amazing.
Let's see what other white players.
Rex Chapman, he took it to Jordan one time.
One time.
Scott Stiles had like 30 assists once.
I mean John Stark.
Oh yeah. Dang.
No, not John Stark.
And you see
Stockton,
how excited
Stockton. John Stark was light skinned. John Stockton, I mean.
Oh, Stockton played pretty white though. He was like so fundamentals.
And
played scrappy.
No,
get away with your unathleticism.
What about Christian Laettner?
But no, but I was also trying to explain is like both Luka and Jokic, they're not overly athletic either. They're kind of a little chubby. Probably more on the slower side, but I was like, then I explained it to Gateway. I was like, we used to have the Filipino guy, the smallest guy there, out rebound everyone. He was just smarter, had more awareness than all of us. He played sneaky. He changed up his speed. He knew how to get his shot off. You'd be 2 feet taller than him, and he's still gonna drive on and score on you.
Oh, and he would block people too.
Yeah, and he was sneaky as hell. Like he just knew how to change up his rhythm. That's what Luka's good at. Luka's all his speeds are slow, but he changes them up as he drives in. It's kind of like a stutter. It's like a weird timing, and no one freaking can block it. But yeah, I was talking about Gateway because of that.
Yeah,
that's what.
So
that's all I gotta say about that.
But yeah, the UFC that took place this weekend. You had Islam Makhachev. I can't say his name.
Yo, all the names when I was placing my bets were like, I can't say any of these names.
Versus Alexander Volkanovski. And Islam basically is one of Khabib's guys. Khabib is completely retired, coaching and everything. He's out. But so he wasn't in Islam's corner. I didn't see the fight, but I know Islam won. Unanimous decision. But everything that I saw online, everybody's like, no, that's not at all accurate. So when it becomes free on ESPN, I'm going to watch it. I'd like to see for my own eyes. But look, man, if the judges say he won, you got to trust the judges. Because, they know best. Especially that lady who didn't know what a Kimura was. But, she's judging MMA fights. But also, that's the old saying, though. Don't let it go to the judges. I mean, you want to fucking win, go out there and win. Don't let that shit go to the judges because you don't know what kind of crack they're smoking that night. And then I guess they had an interim featherweight title fight in the co-main event because the idea was if Volkanovski won that fight, he was going to become the lightweight champion, and then the interim champion would have just got bumped up to champion, undisputed champion. So since Volkanovski lost, he wants a rematch with Islam. Meanwhile, Yair Rodriguez, who won the interim title, he's just sitting there now with a belt. And last time that happened, Kobe Covington was the interim champ for the welterweight division, and he didn't get his shot because when you're an interim champ, you get the next title shot, and he did not get his next title shot. So sometimes things get suspect. So Yair, be strong, homie. I know you listen to the podcast. But yeah, basically, it not only was a title fight for that lightweight title, it was also for the number one pound for pound crown in the UFC. So Islam won, so I guess he's the number one pound for pound. But no, it's a little fucking weird. Their rankings are stupid, and I think another point that they made, I was like, Islam could barely stand up after the fight. He had to have his team hold him up, and Volkanovski's like standing up straight, like, okay, what? So I don't know. UFC is full of shit. It's scripted, so
All the sports are.
all sports are scripted. That which is fucking dumb. I hate when people just go into this whole thing like all sports are scripted. You know that, right? Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs won. Yup, it's scripted. You know it's scripted. It's like, I mean, I guess sometimes players are just good. Teams are just good. Coaches are just good. I mean, when the Lakers lost to the Pistons, was that scripted? Maybe. I don't know because I think the Pacers was like the number one in the East that year. The Pistons, just out fundamental them. So
Yeah, just looking at the 3 bets on the UFC, and the two guys are heavily favored lost. Tyson Pedro
mm-hmm.
and Baghdad-Sarian.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that was a one round. I did get Rodriguez right.
I mean, from what I heard with his fight though, because I was listening to Joe Rogan's Fight Companion, and they were talking about the fight, it sounded like he was actually in some trouble at one point. So it's like he got he may have won the first round, but it sounds like Josh Emmett, because he ended the round on top, they probably gave it to him, but he ended up getting choked out, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so, like I said, with the Super Bowl rules, and it goes with fighting judges, it's just like, I'm just a fan of making things black and white. I don't like the judgment calls. So, like in boxing, for example, I don't understand what it's judged on. But yeah, let's take out all judgment calls. And I was thinking about this the other day because there's been a big advantage of AI. Let's get AI referees. Then there's no human judgment. But yeah, I mean, so boxing, for example, is like, I don't understand. They do have, I don't think the judges, I don't know if they have access to the punching stats, but say, there's usually stats though on total punches landed, power punches landed. Now, if some guy wins both of those and neither boxer went down, how does someone behind win? That's a total judgment, and you're basing it on almost like, not to say not science. You got some other curricular going in your head, like he played better defense. But I want to have it just in boxing. To me, it's like, well, if neither one are hurt and neither one went down, you got to put it on something. So total punches landed, and put more emphasis on the power punches. So
I agree.
But yeah, let's make, and it goes with the Super Bowl, that whole call. It's like, well, why have rules if you want it to be judgment of like, sometimes let it go, sometimes don't,
Well, you can get a little bit more of that because I'm not going to drink that much.
Gonna...
Now, because I'm just worried. I don't want to. Yeah, that's good. That should be good. Well, that's my whole thing with MMA too, because the criteria that they use the boxing 10 10 point score or whatever. So for MMA, it's a lot different because you have takedowns to factor in. I know it gets weird with takedowns because sometimes a judge will score a takedown super heavy. It's like, oh, you got the takedown. We're going to, you won the round for getting the takedown. It's like, you shouldn't. Not if you didn't do anything with the takedown. You get the takedown and just hold them there. I mean, yeah, so I think of it too like in the neighborhood fight. If I take you down to the ground, I just hold you there. I mean, I'm kind of winning, So, I mean, that factors in for something. But, I mean, also, let's say, there's a takedown. And now this comes from the jiu-jitsu standpoint. You get in someone's guard, and they're throwing up submission attempts. They're trying to shoot for triangles. They're trying to shoot for arm bars. They're trying to go for the Kimura. They're making attempts at things, but the judges still aren't even factoring that into anything. At least some of them aren't. They're just like, nope, that other guy got him down, and he's holding him. It's like, yeah, but he's attacking. Like, that's gotta matter. I mean, my neighbor and I were even talking about that one night when we were watching the fights. I was like, yeah, like, he's down, but he's actually going for shit. He's throwing strikes from his back. He's trying to get submissions. And he's like, no, I mean, it's like, no, I mean, like, that's, if the guy on top is doing nothing, then, how are you going to give him points? I mean, again, on the one point that I just made, it's like, look, if I take you down, I hold you there. I mean, it counts for something, I guess, but it's like, again, if the guy on bottom is actively fighting back, though, that factors in. Also, if you're just holding the guy in place, the ref will stand you up because he knows that you're just stalling. I think in Pride, they used to have penalty cards for stalling. So, I'm not saying do that shit in the UFC or any other federation for that matter, but, I mean, MMA specifically, they just took a set of rules or scoring criteria and was like, okay, this has been good for 30 years now because the UFC is 30 years. MMA is 30 years old, like this year. And at no point did no one say in the last 30 years, maybe we should look at the scoring criteria for MMA fight. Like, how do we factor in leg kicks? How much damage is that doing? How do we factor in, a takedown? How do we factor in submission attempts? How do we factor in, you pressing them up against the cage and holding them, and working from there, throwing shots from there. Sometimes you get to do that, press the guy up against the cage and just holds him there. And again, it's kind of similar to the whole take him down and hold him, but it's like you got to work. You got to do something. So, I don't. And then if you're trying to shoot a takedown and I stuff your takedown, that's got to factor for something too. Like, fuck all the judgment calls. Like, actually have some fucking real criteria for things.
Yeah, let's have some AI judges and put some chips in your. We could put some chips in, like the boxing game for what's
relax, Elon.
No, the Oculus.
Yeah,
but it's your velocity, so it's like, oh, like they use that technology as some kind of AI thing. Like, you crack this dude at freaking full velocity, and that's going to be a damaging hit.
That's
AI can do it.
Yeah,
you just gotta be careful, I guess. So, like, turn to AI. I want this guy.
Let's break the last one.
Oh yeah. So this is called the Pastry Archie. The Patriarchy? Patriarchy. There we go.
Yeah, we get it.
By Duclaw out of Baltimore, Maryland. And it's a 3-scoop Neapolitan stout. Vanilla, strawberry, chocolate flavors. 7.5. I'm drinking it. It's pretty... Alcohol hits you with this. It's pretty strong alcohol. Very smooth. I was shocked. It tasted much better than I thought. As we mentioned, it's not like overpowering. It's like a pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
It's like a dessert beer. I would say the more I drank of it, since I did drink, a bit more since you're not feeling it, it's like, ooh, I started to get. And to be fair, I had dinner before I came here. But I'm like, this is not something you can pound after dinner. A little dessert, maybe. Yeah, give it a nice little buzz, and we come in the tall cans.
Well, I also think too with a lot of these beers that we drink is that because I was explaining this to Sarah one time about like the beers that we drink here on the show. It's like a lot of these aren't meant for like we're used to like the olden days where we drink some a bunch of light beers. We drink a bunch of Miller Lights, a bunch of Budweisers even, and that's party time. Those are party beers. A lot of these beers aren't party beers. A lot of these beers are like, look, go out and have a couple of these beers, and like that's literally what it means. Like I'm gonna go out and have a couple of beers. So I have a couple of them, and you're good, like because you're gonna get your buzz, and a lot of them are pretty filling. So this especially falls in that category.
Yeah, I think for this type of beer, it's well done. I like it.
I
think
didn't.
it was cool.
I didn't hate it. I couldn't drink a whole bunch of it. I'm not feeling well. I took a sip of it. It did taste pretty good. I have a touch of nausea right now. So, but based off of what I ran into with it was pretty tasty. Now this is something I don't know that I would buy it, but this like this being up there like in that 6-9 range, 7 even, I'll put it at 7 because I probably would buy it as an experimental.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 too. It's kind of the same thing. So I don't know if I'd buy it home because it's how heavy it is, but I feel like, first off, if you're a fan of stouts, you probably like this one a lot. And I think I have just some friends that like ice cream and dessert. They would like this. But yeah, I mean, I like this. If I did not have dinner, I'd probably be time to eat it.
You gotta watch what you say things, man.
Valentine's Day.
Not for us.
It comes out.
On the back. Yeah, it was delicious. So I'll go with that 7.
This next one's not bad either.
I wish I wasn't fucking sick because that was pretty good.
Their naming, I mean, they didn't try too hard with the name,
All right, so what?
but named it what it is.
Right.
Beer.
Yeah, I like it. Run with that shit. So this week, I've been without internet. I just got my internet back. I think Saturday night, maybe Saturday afternoon. No, I told you before the internet went out, and you're like, yeah, it went out at work, and then someone else at work said it went out all like on the same day. I'm like, man, it's cold as shit. It was that cold.
Freeze.
But the thing is that before Christmas Eve, the 23rd of December, it was colder. No issues where we lost power, but I mean the internet did come back up once power came back on. So it turns out for me what the issue was, our router was dying. Because what would happen is we get a signal, it hold for about 5 minutes, and then just drop off. So when the field tech came out to look, it was like, see this light here? Comes on. See where it just shut off? Lost signal. It comes back on after about 30 seconds to a minute, and it kept doing that. Now, for a little bit of time, like we were able to watch TV, and because of how it was, because of, let's say you had HBO, what happens is it's buffering, so it'll get so far along, so you can continue without the internet until it gets to that cutoff line. Now it needs more feed, it needs the signal to get so it gives you the rest of the episode. So the few minutes that it was on, we get enough of the episode, and then if it shuts off, it didn't matter because the episode was still on, but then we caught up to it. And it wasn't too bad. I mean, it'd go off for a few seconds, come back on, and we were fine. But I was scheduled to record one night. I think it was like, Tuesday? So I was like, before I record, let me go fuck with the internet and try to make sure the same pictures are working. Because it felt like it was working. I didn't know it was completely out like it was with the router. So once I fucked it up even more, it was just trash. I ended up recording with this one dude from Oklahoma. He was real cool. I told him like, look, I gotta have you back on. You gotta redo this. Because as we're talking, we talk about jiu-jitsu and everything, and then somehow, because we're talking about winning attitudes and like coaching and stuff. And, we ended up getting to NFL #1 draft picks, stuff like that. And then we rolled into talking about the Detroit Lions, which turns out he's a Lions fan. And he's like, his dad's from Detroit. I was like, oh shit, okay. And then the conversation, because we're pretty much at like the end of we're like done. And once we start talking to Detroit, it's like, oh, it's another 45 minutes. Let's go. Real cool dude. Definitely want to have him back on. And then I recorded my horror podcast with Manuel, although when I was introduced, like called Manuel. So I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. But I had to deal with like my Bluetooth, the earbuds. Oh man, like his sound, like both my guests sound perfect. My sound is just, it sounds so shitty. But the show must go on. So, I don't know. Now that we figured out what's wrong with the internet, this shit's up and running perfectly fine. I wouldn't like, we got the new router, and that's still pretty well because we also got a new modem. And I had to talk to the company, like, hey, I had this to enjoy. But that was Friday night, so Saturday, like, I went to work and I texted her, I was like, hey, call our cable provider, our internet provider, get shit working. She calls me, like, look, the internet's up. And I was like, I looked at my manager, I was like, I might want to go home. I've been without internet for a week. I gotta go home and I don't know what to do, but I want to go home and just pretend like I'm actually using my internet. But everything's right in the world. We're living like some fucking pilgrims and shit for like a week. Let me tell you, don't recommend it. Like, I mean, we still had our phones, but like Sophie, she didn't know what to do. She was like, oh my god, is this what life was like before I was born? Like, no internet? Because like, she's the only one who watches Netflix here. Like, fuck Netflix, Netflix is dumb. Now they're like, not letting you share passwords anymore, like, fuck y'all. Like, they're not letting you, and they're raising the prices. Fucking Netflix is dumb. Like, fuck them. The stock price about to drop, which is why it's time to go back. Because we fix it, and then it's like everything's gonna go back up again. Just like when they tried to like change it, like years ago, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna change the name," and everyone's like, "No, that's a bad idea." And the stock like plummeted, and then the people were like, "Oh, this is a good time to jump in," and then suddenly Netflix became what we know now because they're like, "Never mind, we're not changing our name. We're gonna stay Netflix."
I know one thing. I mean, they're just so big. It's just tough to continue to grow without coming out. I guess there was like a thought like, oh, they come out with all these shows and now they're out of ideas. But who knows? I know Microsoft was hurting for a while. Microsoft is almost recovered now.
Well, wasn't like,
oh, because now they're investing like heavily into like some new future AI thing. And now all of a sudden it's booming. So I'm like, they always, technically, when you have stock, when it dips bad, you don't technically lose until you sell. So
yeah.
Microsoft still said, "Oh, it didn't feel pretty." Even though it was,
yeah.
This shit's gonna stop. It's been 2 years of dropping.
It's like there was an episode of Thundercats. They had this pit called the 4-day drop or some shit like that. That's what it felt like. You just watch Microsoft drop, and it's like,
yeah, it was
oh my god.
I mean, most stocks for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They've just been dropping, and then suddenly this year everything's getting back, and I'm like, oh, my Microsoft total is like down $100. I'm like, oh shit, we're almost back even. But I was like way up when it started, so I'm not even close to back where it was before it recovered. But I'm like, oh shit, it paid to not sell because those that sold on that bottom out, yikes.
Yeah, that's what we lose. I mean, I was looking at my 401k.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you look at especially like the last 2 years, people's 401k. And I feel bad for the people that are like at the end, because that percent, mine's not big enough where it was like, I mean, it was big, but it's not as big as it could have been. Like if you're up towards the end and say like 500,000, you might have been down 50,000 for the year. 50. And that's just 1 year, and it was 2 bad years in a row. So you might be down $100,000 in your 401k.
I looked at my joint like right as COVID and everything's kind of hitting the lockdown point. I was like, all right, pretty solid now. I looked at that shit back in August because I try not to look at it too often just because I don't. It's like watching paint dry. It's like you get anxious, you want to touch the paint. Maybe I'm the only weirdo, but I'm looking at it, I was like, oh my god, where'd all my money go? And I was like, oh yeah.
I still remember like we had the 401k. It's actually the old company that were telling us like, don't panic when it's falling. Just think of it as you're now buying stuff at a discount. It's like, damn, 2 years of this shit's down 20,000. Is this gonna stop? Isn't this shit supposed to keep going up? My shit's going down with money coming into it.
Yeah, it's like that's what tripped me out. I was like, money was going in. It was like money's going in, and y'all just taking it.
Yeah,
like,
where's it going?
There's a hole in the basket. Like, what are we doing?
Am I just supposed to wait till I get to zero? You're like, oh shit.
Well, yeah, that was legit worrying. I was like, yo, I'm just waiting to get that call. Like, so, yeah, all your money's gone. I was like, no, the fuck it ain't. I better find my money because I'll come out to Utah and stump y'all. Like, for real.
So far this year is good. That everyone blames Trump for the good stock market. I don't know either one of these guys had anything good with anything.
No. Yeah. That's always a silly thing. It's like, what was it? I guess we have a new speaker of the House. Politics wise, I don't even know what the fuck that means. I guess if some shit goes on, we lose the president, the vice president, the speaker steps up as the new president. But he's Republican, Kevin McCarthy, and you know all the cronies on the other side with him. They're like, I guess the one chick, she gets up there and she's complaining. She's like, President Biden lowered gas prices. It's unfair, and like just like this weird rant. And then I guess whoever's up there that she's talking to goes, so let me get this straight. What you're saying is you're mad at the president for lowering gas prices. If I'm hearing you correct. And because what she was saying is he, I guess, went into the reserve or some bullshit before the election, before the midterms. And she was saying it was unfair for him to do that to win the election. It was like, well, you know, a lot of those cats lost the election because they weren't good candidates. Like, I don't think the gas prices had anything to do with Herschel Walker losing. He almost won, which is really, really weird. Like, and then one chick in Colorado, the brunette with the glasses, how much you do? Glasses help. Like, high school.
Sarah Palin. All types of porn movies, fake porn movies.
She was cute, but it was like it was like a weird cute. Where it was like, you know,
Crazy.
yeah, but not like you know, like she might stab me. She was like crazy, like, oh, let's go hunt a moose. And you're like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. But you'll go do it and go like skin it and everything.
Where is she nowadays?
Alaska. Like that's where she was the governor of Alaska. So you know, she's still up there. You know, I think like, but she was like a strong like you know, pusher like all this like I can't remember, you know, but it was like, you know, abstinence and like, you know, no sex ed in school, blah blah blah, all that shit. And her teenage daughter ended up getting pregnant. And it was like, ooh, that's awkward. Oh, was that out of wedlock, Sarah? Yeah, it was. Oh, okay. Shut the fuck up.
And it was spliced together, but it was like one of those made for TV things in the 80s. You get to, what happens if I have?
Oh,
sex?
yeah.
Well, Michael, you're gonna die.
Well, then you'll die. Dude, every so often I like to repost that just to like remind people don't have sex. Then you will die.
If you touch yourself,
You'll go blind.
You're gonna grow hair on your palm.
I remember we were out somewhere, we were younger. I remember someone said that. Like, yo, if you jerk off, you grow hair on your palms. I looked at my palms, like, oh, he looked at his palms, like, so I jerk off. Like, people that like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's like, no, dude, like, I'm jerking off. Like, trying to get this nut. If I like let it all build up, I'm gonna just start biting people. Like, I started feeling better about like when I started jerking off more. I was less stressed. I felt like, you know, may as well just take some drugs. But I was like, no, go jerk off. But now, you know, the one chick in Colorado, she's a high school dropout. So I was like, yo, she dropped out of high school. And she's like a politician now. Son, I'm like, you know, seriously considering, like, let me just go, like, figure out a way in. Because the one dude, is it Santos? Yeah, I think it's Santos. This guy apparently has been, like, lying about a lot of shit. He's like, oh, my mom, you know, like, died in the Holocaust. Never mind, she died in 9/11. You know, all these other things. And then, like, you'll see a tweet, happy birthday, mom. You know, like, all this weird shit. But apparently, there's, like, a text link showing that he was talking to a friend, basically saying, look, dude, if I can get into, like, whatever it is, Congress or whatever, I'll have a pension and health care. That's all I just need to get my foot in the door. And now I'm like, word? Because I just want health insurance. That's all. Just want some good health insurance. Like, because one of like with good health insurance, can you tell the doctor not to put your finger in the butt? I feel
That
like
probably would be good.
though you can tell them like you can like command them to do things. So if you got really good insurance, right? You just tell them not to
I
touch
feel
your
like
butt.
we're hoping to say some other ones. Is that a finger in the butt? Can I have a hand job?
I mean, maybe. I mean, if she's killing her. I mean, yeah, you know. I'm just saying, dude, I don't want to go get my booty fumbled.
I mean, we've talked about it before. I can't believe that's the best way, but apparently that's the best way.
That's bullshit. I know it's not the best way. There's just some fucking perverts out there, like, just want to get into do booty holes.
Because, I mean, they find, apparently, prostate's the #1 killer of men. But it's like the most treatable if you find it early. Well, how do you find it early? Is it always from the finger?
I'm pretty sure. But I also
Or is
think,
it also like the blood test or something?
I think if you, like, jerk off a lot,
But isn't there also the,
like, you're good.
isn't there the, there's that one test I saw, you poop in the box and mail it there.
So that shit's wild.
You know, I just feel like if you're the mail service, you know what that box is. Oh, wait,
God, I
by the
can't-
way, so we got a package outside, it might have been, it said specimen sample.
Yes.
And
That
it came to our house, and I was like, this isn't any of us. And then it just dawned on me for a second. I was like, yo, this might be poop in a box or something. So I just immediately just threw it out. So whoever's sample that
Was it addressed to you? Like,
No, it was out front. Like they delivered it to us.
It was like you should have looked at what the address was.
It wasn't, I think it was our address, but it wasn't obviously.
So somebody sent y'all jizz in a box.
They
and threw it
moved.
away.
They moved. Yeah, I threw it away. Yeah, I think it was shit in the box.
Somebody was probably trying to get some.
And I think it was maybe the jar he was supposed to shit in the box. I should have shit in the box and sent it.
I think somebody was trying to do some in vitro fertilization, and they probably was like, "Look, we're gonna send this to you. You got a turkey baster. Go ahead, girl. Do what you got to do." And you just ruin someone's future. You just threw away. The nasty
Then I
hormones.
got in the mail though some. It can't have been the government, so some kind of private company. They, because where I live is near the highway, and it said they want to do a survey because of highway noise, blah 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 blah. But the only reason I opened up, there's a $2 bill, and I was like, yo, this is tight.
Nice.
And then I was like, but this $2 bill is like, here's this $2 bill, but we're hoping you're gonna participate in this thing. But as soon as I read what it was like, we're gonna just you have this device when you sleep that records sounds. Like, oh hell no! Like what? You're gonna be listening, doing stuff with nah.
I don't want in on
Yeah.
that.
So I was like, hell no. But I was like, wait, I don't see any catch. I think I could keep this $2 bill though. That's like.
Oh, not.
But they were gonna pay you to participate in this other study. And I was like, no, there's no chance. I don't like the fact that my phone listens to me.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm letting some people I don't even know have a device that records our sound at night. There's no way they're just listening to you sleeping. They're gonna hear all types of other shit.
That's the okie doke. We say, hey, we're gonna send this, and we're only gonna listen to it at this time.
some
Like,
perverts paying me to listen.
yeah,
to
what
it.
if I'm fucking or jerking off at that time? We're gonna ignore that. No, you're not. You're gonna hear me roar like a lion at the end. You're not gonna ignore it. You're gonna fucking post it on the internet when I go, oh, oh, oh. They're like, what the fuck is that sound? I think he just came.
Like, this guy. Whenever we hear the window open, we know the porn's coming on.
You hear the window open and you hear the bedroom door lock. You know what's going on.
Here, some tissue.
He's like, wait, what's that sound?
Lotion.
Yeah. It's like, you hear the lotion bottle. Is that it? Oh, nasty. You just hear me say, this is for you.
And then it'd be funny too. You just like completed the deed and then you forgot. Like, oh shit.
No.
Hey guys.
They have them listening and turn like, hey, I know you guys are listening, so I'm going to put on some Sade for you. Just so you know what's going down.
Whatever you think happened, it didn't happen. This beer.
Yeah, this might be tasty.
So this one's called New England Pale Ale, which is what it is, a New England Pale Ale.
Very, very clever name.
By Harpoon Brewery out of Boston.
Baston.
Boston. Let's go drink at the bar.
Baston.
I would like to go to Boston sometime. Just see what it's like.
Crazy.
Is it racist to go to Boston?
No, I didn't say you're racist. I'm just saying they're racist.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel like Boston probably got some fun bars. I just picture from Boston. I feel like they're like Philly, but not quite as bad. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, Boston always gives me that Philly vibe. Like, I always feel like, I feel like a little like Philadelphia.
Yeah, tad classier, man.
Yeah,
Maybe because they won more championships.
That's wild. Yeah, it's like that's the only reason why. Just because like it's because they know what it feels like to
They have
win.
the freaking Patriots and the Celtics to win mad championships.
Hey, don't forget the Bruins. You act like hockey's not a thing, son. The Bruins were champions once, and then the Red Sox won some titles. So don't hate. Don't hate on
Yeah,
those.
I was saying
You're hating on
Boston's a
other
title
sports.
town. I didn't even get to it. I mean, they probably won some badminton championships.
They look like they look like the kind of people that play badminton and then fight.
My girlfriend wants to play. She said I was gonna teach her volleyball, and she's all for it. But then she was like, "What about badminton?" And I was confused. Like, you play badminton? And she's like, "Yeah, her cousin played badminton." I was like, "Really?" Like, I feel like you're trying to be funny.
We played badminton a few years back. I can't remember what park we're at, but it was like my friends, their younger brother's graduation party. And we're like, okay, cool. They had badminton gear. I was like, all right, let's do it.
I remember our babysitter had a badminton set, but there was no one to play with, so
Well,
I think I was just hitting it straight in the air. Like, this is nothing.
like badminton is a hood cookout staple. Like we always had badminton going on. No one was really playing. Like we'd start and we were like, okay, this is shit. But it was always an option. We always tried it for at least 5 minutes and we just gave up. We were like, fuck this. But then that did lead me to playing tennis for a little while.
What's up with pickleball? Like, friggin', I hear all this shit about athletes playing pickleball in their spare time, all super pumped to play. Our former gym, half the basketball court is gone now. It's now pickleball courts. And if I go there at lunch, it is packed full of adults playing pickleball. So, pickleball must be the end thing. It does look kind of fun because it looks like tennis, but not nearly as big of a court. So it's almost like standing ping pong.
Let me get this video real quick up before pickleball. I want to see what's going on here. So,
I hear
okay,
people just
so
going
it's
crazy
like
about it.
it's ping pong on a tennis court is what it
Right.
is.
So it's not. It's like in between. It's like small little paddles, right? What I saw, the paddles were pretty small.
Yeah,
And
they're
then,
ping pong.
but you're standing, but it's not so big of a tennis court. So I feel like it would be kind of fun, right? Because you're gonna have a little bit more action, and not like sometimes in tennis it's like 2 hits score.
Because
it seems like-
suck.
I mean, I think even professional tennis, like there's some long ones, but there's also a lot of short ones.
Well, this looks okay. I've been doing good for about 90 minutes in. This looks fucking retarded.
Hey, we gotta try it.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna try. I'm just saying it looks pretty dumb. You gotta buy the gear. I'm not buying the gear because my daughter sees that shit in the house. She's gonna want to fucking play in the fucking.
I have a
baseball.
tennis court in our neighborhood. Can
That's
we
not
play
big.
on the tennis court?
So
Like, can't you use like the square maybe?
so the tennis court is wider, but you can kind of.
Like maybe you can use the square because there's 2 squares in the front of it.
So the thing is, it's too wide. Because looking at the court here,
So pickleball, really?
yeah. So I can't let you look at my phone like I'm doing something. Sometimes I'll be opening my phone and be like, oh my god, I didn't know I was looking at that. And coworkers be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, yo, I like koala bears, yo. They're not bears. Marsupials. So let's see here. Come on, dude. Another ad for pizza rollies. I can't eat pizza.
And they listen to you. They know you were talking about it.
So yeah, the court. It's like you might be able to get away with like the inside lines.
Yeah, so
Of the
that's
tennis
why
court.
maybe there's 1 square in the beginning, or one on one. So it's almost like half a tennis court.
So
Or we could put some cones.
yeah, you can
The net looks the same way.
yeah, the net's the
So
same.
yeah, try it on the tennis court.
It looks like you can get away with it if you use it inside. Like if you're playing singles tennis, you only use inside lines because you don't know what tennis is, but pretty good. Like that. The thing is, you have to kind of measure out the back though, so that's where you probably have to utilize the cones because it's not as deep for a court is. So,
Playing pickleball.
alright, so yeah, here's someone retrofit the basketball court for nerds.
So I think it would be fun if it's that small court of like a lot of action. And that looks like a lot of time it's torn too.
It could be. I mean, I'm not opposed to trying it. So,
Come see us on Pickleball Court.
bitch ass.
Like y'all trying to play pickleball?
What's up? Colompton in the house. So.
Colompton Pickle Club.
Oh, that's perfect.
We got big pickles in Colompton. Alright, somehow we got talking about Pickle Club. New England Pale Ale. So yeah, good beer. The alcohol percentage is a little low, but it's very tasty.
It felt like
It's
it was
5.5%, but which is if you're comparing it to like the party beer style,
Yeah, that's solid.
it's pretty high. There's nothing. Yeah, it's not like it's a New England style beer, but a lot of those are like fruity. This isn't fruity. It's just a good tasting beer.
Like the little bit that I had was.
I wouldn't be able to describe what I'm tasting. It's good beer. There's nothing that stands out as a flavor.
That is a fact. So I would give this. I'm gonna give this a 6.8, 6.9. Let's go 6.9.
6.9. I gave it a 7, so just missed out. But very tasty. But yeah, the alcohol percentage is a 5.5. That hurts a little.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm not going with a 7.
But that's about like
Why?
I compared to like a lot of these type beers to me, like not really we give it like a 6.8.
Let me see here. So real like briefly, I want to mention on a serious note. Because I've been seeing a lot of these videos lately, fucking bullying. That shit's like Sarah mentioned something. So there's something went down near here actually, at one of the high schools, and I showed Sarah. It's funny because Sarah's like, if that would happen in my school, that would not happen. That would have gone down. People would have gone after that kid who was picking on the handicapped kid. I was like, probably not. It wouldn't. Like, you might want to think that you all were super, like, these super high morals, but no, they would have done what those kids did. That one kid. So there's a handicapped kid. He comes over. He's asking him to sign something, like a petition or something. I don't know. And I guess the kid recorded. He was like, "No, get out of here! Get the fuck out of here!" And then started like calling stupid, and then dropped the N-bomb. Kid was not black. Neither of them. That video kind of went semi-viral. It hit the news and everything. And then that same kid who was, verbally assaulting one kid, he made another video of him running through the woods nearby, screaming, "I hate N-words." But the whole thing is like, there's been some videos that popped up recently too. A little girl in Florida getting beat up on a school bus. And another video has been circulating of a girl much bigger than the girl that she attacked. She walks up to her, pushes her against the wall, smashes her head against the wall, and just starts wailing on her. And another video went out. So I didn't see this other video, but apparently a young lady committed suicide because the video got uploaded of her getting bullied or getting beat up by a bully. And I have a couple of friends who have made comments in the past about bullying is necessary. Like, people are too soft today. Like, bullying, without bullies, we wouldn't have people like Bill Gates and blah, blah, blah. It's like, also without bullying, we would probably have those kids who kill themselves. It's like, it's easy to say some shit like that when you're not being picked on. or your child is being picked on, or someone you know is being picked on. I don't know these kids, but as someone who's both on the receiving end and the giving end, actually, like this shit is unacceptable. Sarah's got kids who were being picked on at school at one point, and you know, the mom went to school, and you know, it was just like, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about this. It's like, what do you mean you can't do anything? Like, you can't talk to the fucking parents. You can't. I don't know. Like, so we're just gonna let the kids keep getting their asses whipped. I mean, and that's where, you know, that's where the whole discussion was like, look, teach your kids how to fight. Like, and legitimately fight. Like, not like, you know, like fucking Friday, Craig's that. You know, put your loops up. You know, but that's part of it though. You gotta fucking protect your fucking head, protect your face, you know.
Craig cheating.
I ain't got no excuses.
His dad didn't want him to gun, but the brick was fine.
I was trying to think of any like comeback. Like, I mean, yeah, Craig, you was wrong with that one. But I mean, honestly, no, fuck that. You getting beat by Debo, man. You better do whatever you can because you ain't gonna beat Debo. Like, it's empty, dude. It's empty.
Oh, this is yours too.
It's empty. You have all types of problems. You just saw a bottle and just started drinking from it. Ain't nothing in it.
There's always something left over.
Yeah, well, like this was that time. I'll, you know, I don't even know what you're going through right there. You seem like you're going through some moments. But yeah, basically, you know, with the whole bullying thing, this shit frustrates me because it's like I don't like to watch like street fights. You know, like when people put up like wall star videos. I genuinely dislike watching those types of things because, like, someone could like seriously get fucking hurt, someone get killed. Now, obviously, that should happen to a child is even worse, especially when the kid is much bigger than the kid and they're whipping their ass. It's not okay. There's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt up in Jersey named Tom DeBlas. He's been basically reaching out to the kids who are being bullied. And like, cool for him. He's sponsoring them. He's paying for a year of training for them. And I think that's fucking really fucking cool. One point was brought up in the comments because they're like, you know, parents, you know, put their kids in activities. You know, they're talking about like going pro. Basically, it's like, you know, we put our kids in like football, basketball, whatever. And it's no secret. A lot of people in the martial arts community don't really care for like organized sports. You know, I get it to some degree because we're focusing so heavily here. You know, really paying attention to everything else kind of goes out the window. But not only that, I think a lot of people who play like who do martial arts, a lot of them, not all of them, but quite a few, weren't really good in other sports. Those are just facts. But I trained with quite a few dudes who, like the one dude, Elvis, he's black. It's important. Like he's a D1 athlete. He fucking me up. I don't even want to roll with that dude sometimes. Really, it was just like he too intense. Like
that's real, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you know, basically the comment was saying like, you know, parents put their kids in like football, soccer, basketball, all this stuff. You know, and a lot of them with this ideal like they're gonna go pro. It's like the percentages are very, very low for that. But the percentages of them having to defend themselves from a bully are very high. Like pinch kids in martial arts. It's like I get that. It's like it's kind of so, you know, trying to sell. Like, I mean, if you're like giving out martial arts training, you know, for free, sure. It's like it's still kind of it's expensive essentially. But I don't know, this whole thing. I think one of the things that I took from the comments too is like people are like, oh my god, kids are so much worse these days. I don't think that's the case at all. I think that again, just like what we were saying with all the police videos. It's like, oh my god, police is, you know, so much worse. No, it's that we have cameras now. There's so much more footage of it. Kids aren't worse, I don't think. Well, I think with social media they are to some degree. But I think if we had social media back in the 80s,
yeah, it's like we almost bully each other for fun in a way.
Yeah.
Like that was like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of some people that were viewed as being funny. They really were bullies.
Yeah,
And
well,
making fun of someone.
and that's the thing. It's a weird line because it's like where we come from. that was just kind of a rite of passage. Doesn't mean it was right necessarily. It was just that was what we did. And, you know, it's easy to say, oh, well, you know, we got over it. Maybe. I don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Maybe they didn't. But I also think, too, when it comes to physical, like, not okay. When it comes to, like, doing some shit and then posting it online for everyone to see, not okay. Like, if we're, and there's also such a thing as, like, if we're both, like, joining on each other. Because that was a thing. We crack on each other. That was, like, sometimes that was, like, recess, you know, like, cracking jokes on each other. That was a sport. Like, but it was mutual. You both knew what you were getting into, and you left it at that. Whereas now, kids are being like picked on. The other kids like, I don't want to be involved in this.
It's funny. Bay always makes comments like, "You're so quick to have a comeback all the time." Like if I say something, because that's what we did. We did like a comeback and stuff.
Yeah, like because you know it's coming. So it's like if you start like if you come in, and then like all of us like you're a fucking crazy like a fucking hobo today. You're ready to fire right back. It's like because we know like that's where we are. We're always geared to have something to say back. But again, we were kind of raising that versus kids today. And that's not to say, oh, we got to start raising our kids to crack on each other more. Like even with that, just making fun of each other. I mean, because we did, Sophie and I, we crack jokes on each other all the fucking time.
I even remember out front playing a game where we had a diss battle basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know that's just the thing. It's like, you know, verbal. You know, the whole stick to stones may break my bones, or words never hurt me. Like, yeah, I mean, and we used the words as a game. We played, but it never became a like, oh, let's go, you know, beat up this one. Except for usually have like a no name rule on your bundle and drop name, like because sometimes names need to be dropped. I don't know if you remember Alan Curtis. Like he was one of the people every so often like, let's just go beat him up. and the thing, it's hard to explain, but this dude, he wasn't not likable, but he wasn't likable at the same time. It was like a weird like middle ground for him. I remember Ben Pistons 40 once. We were all drinking. And I don't know if he went somewhere. He comes back, he picks up his 40, he takes a sip, he goes, my fort is warm.
I remember I went to a summer camp, and I didn't particularly like this camp. It was just because I was like away from where I lived. And it's funny, so my brother went to the same camp, loved that camp. It's totally different experiences. But regardless, I guess it was somewhat of a religious camp, so I wasn't feeling that part at all. I especially wasn't feeling it. It had a lot of like, because I was one of the older kids at that time, like towards the older end, they would do these like sing along type things. And I was really not feeling that. Like the you know the this little light of mine type song. I was like, why aren't you singing? So I'm not feeling this at all. But regardless, there's some kid that everyone hated. He was on one of those lines, like total asshole. Like nobody liked this kid. But I couldn't believe my counselor knew that the other kid pissed in his orange and just let it go because this kid was so much of an asshole. And it was like one of those times in my life, like I hated that kid, but I felt bad for him. I was like, man, I can't believe this is. And I'm probably like not the least religious of these people, but I'm shocked that my counselor was like, yeah, go ahead and do it. This was fun.
So and that's the thing too. I remember like us growing up, because we were all kids, so the counselors were usually like they seemed so much older to us. The counselors were usually like 16 to like 20.
This guy, now that I think about it, like years later, it was kind of weird. He was one of those male cheerleader guys that was huge. Like, I mean, I remember this dude could do like 300 push-ups, and he was like 300 pounds, like easily. Like this dude was probably benching ridiculous amount. Super strong, like probably one of those dudes that could hold the girl up with one hand, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found that weird. That even at that young age, like that just seems weird that you're okay with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he was probably younger though, older to us, but younger, and he was just like this fucking. Do you remember one of our school bus drivers? When I was in Delaware, the fight broke out on the bus. I was not involved. Just so you know, it was not me this time. I was like, this was when I was still like a nice kid. I was still trying to figure it out. And once I figured out, oh, this dude lets us fight on the bus. Jeff Scott got it. That was my neighbor. I hated that kid because I had Trivial Pursuit. It was Genius edition. Genius. Scott. He comes out one day, looks at it, and goes, "Oh, Genius edition. Well, that's good because I'm a genius." Yo, I whipped his ass every day on the bus. I beat him up so bad that his mom moved to another school. So, as I'm talking about anti-bullying, I'm just pointing out, yes, I was a bully at one point too. I was a piece of shit. But Jeff was also a piece of shit too. So, I would beat Jeff. He would come over and like put his hand in my fish tank and try to catch the fish and scare them. That's when I asked my grandparents for a piranha. And they told me, they were like, yes, but wait until, because they knew the fish were going to die. They don't have a long shelf life. They were like, wait till all the fish die. And then this will get your piranha. Alright, so don't judge me. There's a heat in the fish tank. Can't have a heat too high, though. Die. But I wanted the fucking piranha. So I cooked the fish. Like I turned it up. I turned it up like just a little bit each day. You know, I still fed when I didn't make it too obvious. And then the fish, like everything died. Algae either died, the penguin fish died, the goldfish, everything died. I had a beta, like a Siamese fighting fish. I had one of those. But we had to put like a screen to keep that fish away from the others because they kept attacking them. So once all the fish died, you know, he was like, okay, hey, so another one just died, the last one just died. And we'll get on that because I wanted Jeff to put his fucking hand in that fucking tank. And I was ready. Damn it, I was ready. What the fuck was wrong with you?
That was one of my least favorite gifts I got. My mom got me an aquarium, so you got me responsibility. Like, I didn't have to feed nothing every day. I didn't have to clean anything. You got me. I gotta go out and get fish. I gotta feed it now every day. I gotta clean the tank. And it's funny is I set it all up. It looked really nice, and I was just like, I don't think I want it. I never got a fish. I was just like, I don't think I want to do this because I'm not gonna win. I don't want to have to feed a fish every day and clean the tank, to be honest. And then but I was like, why don't I just give it to you? So to this day, my mom in the living room has a fish tank next to a fish tank, and I was like, oh, that's how you got it. It was your gift to me.
I think I remember seeing a fish tank in your living room.
I set it up and never got a fish.
I just never thought about it. It was just like, oh, you got a fish tank. Okay, cool. There was
Yeah, I was like, that was weird. I didn't want a fish tank.
well, like, so the fish tank would always get algae on, so my grandparents had me an algae, which also
Those like catfish looking food.
yeah. Like they got me a couple little ones, and they got me this huge one. Doesn't matter. I told them all. I want that fucking piranha. And I actually brought that up to my grandparents. It wasn't too recent, but it was within the last 10 years I brought that up to them. I didn't like tell them the horribly morbid part of it, but I told them like, hey, you never ended up getting me piranha. My grandma was like, well, now you have your own place, you get your own piranha. So grandma was a good show. There's like a picture upstairs, I guess my uncle in prison drew, and she got a frame at Michael's room, and Sarah had to go pick it up, and Sarah has a receipt. So apparently they paid like $700 to have this shit framed. So yo, what is this fucking frame name? Any name?
Yeah, I guess those custom frames.
I still have. So Sarah opened it up and let me see the picture. I didn't pay attention to the frame. The picture was beautiful. I was like, $700. Seriously, all you did for fucking Christmas was a fucking pair of socks. It's funny. So yeah. So the moral of the story is don't be a fucking bully, or I'll get piranha.
Don't give people fish tanks for
and break the fucking thing. Yeah, fish's presents are trash too. Unless it's a piranha.
No, they like fish.
I guess that's just dumb. Fuck fish, yo.
We have this or
Alright,
that.
let's jump into these questions.
Oh, we got bonus too. Damn. I don't know. Okay, so we got 13 this or that.
Alright, where? Let's go.
Connect 4 tic-tac-toe.
I love me some Connect 4 though. Tic-tac-toe is a little too easy to win.
If you can go first, you can win every time.
Yeah. Well, no, you can get them on that second if you go second. You just have the person that's going first has to be a little dumb. But
First you can.
yeah,
Like,
first
dictate it.
first you can set that up easy. But if you're going against the right person, You can get it, and you're going second. You can get it the same thing every time. I'm gonna go Connect Four because it's fun. And it's a bigger board, a lot more strategy to it. We don't have any drinks here for to drink.
Oh, I do have one highlight.
I can't even drink right now. I'm a puke already because.
We never read that.
No. We have not. The champagne and beers? No, we have not.
Monthly salary or hourly rate?
So I've only been salaried once, and I was not crazy about it, but I did like some things about it. But ultimately,
There's no overtime, basically.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
your day short.
yeah, you can be like, 8-hour day. Good luck with that. I'm working 6.
But you can get.
But then you'll get caught up.
70-hour weeks, maybe.
Yeah, you get hit
You
one
don't
day.
get paid for it.
So I'm gonna take the hourly just because of the overtime potential, but there's an asterisk next to it. I've only ever worked hourly, and I've only done salary twice actually.
I just feel like the only thing that's making me lean towards salary is probably because salary tends to be more than the hourly wage job. You know?
So when I was working at in health insurance, I'm not sure I've said it before. I worked for Kaiser Permanente in a call center for a while, and so there was a catch to it because there was a position available. You could go salary, but you're going to be making less per hour, like hourly, than the hourly employees. And a lot of people have been passing that position up, and they're like, "What?" So like, if you take it though, there are more opportunities down the line for you. But as far as like immediate pay, you're definitely making less than what the hourly CSR is making. So I mean, you do have some scenarios where the hourly can make more than salary, but yeah, traditionally salary employees are making more than hourly, and also you do have the benefit of like not having to work like a full shift if you don't want to. Yeah, I got to check out an hour early today, but yeah, you can get fucking caught up in a 70-hour work week for no reason. And he was like, "Hey, can you do this for a bunch of extra hours?"
Silly socks or funny T-shirts?
I got a lot of T-shirts, so I'll go with the T-shirts because
Yeah, I'd go T-shirts. I don't wear ankle socks for the most part.
I mean,
Until recently, I got into some. I tried because it was so cold that Ravens game.
Yeah.
I got some of these 2 pairs of those thick socks. That shit's tight in the wintertime.
yeah, I usually wear ankle socks, but this year I told her I was like, "Yo, give me some like taller socks because like my ankles be getting cold as fuck. Like fuck that." So, and also last year I think what she get me? She got me the Marvel socks. So there are a few tall pairs and there are a few ankle pairs in there. I still kind of wear them, like my Black Panther ones because Black History Month, and Black Widow because Black History Month. I know she's white, but she's one of ours.
She's a white girl.
Yeah.
Is that Black History Month?
She's one of ours. And then Vision, he counts. He's a robot. And then that's it. They didn't really get.
I've never had any silly socks.
Yeah, I've never had any the socks where you put your feet up and it says
I also-
if you read this, bring me coffee, some shit like that.
As you probably know, I don't even match my socks, so they're both black. They look similar.
Dude, sometimes you don't even match your shoes.
That was just one time.
Okay, whatever. There's one time that I caught it.
Yeah.
Like
It was one time that I'm aware of.
yeah, like I think there's still a picture of that somewhere.
That shit still was shocking though, because I was like, I didn't think I would ever do that. But yeah, I had one. They were both black shoes.
Yeah, at least they're both the
but
same color.
There was different brands. I had one Adidas and one Nike shoe.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, next.
Be funny or good looking?
I'm already beautiful, so I love being funny though. So let's be funny.
Did I choose one? Yeah, I guess I'd choose. I don't know. You could be really ugly though.
I'll be all right with that as long as I can make people laugh. I don't gotta be beautiful. The lights
I
gonna be
wouldn't
off
want to
when
be funny and then I look like Larry the Cable Guy or something like that.
But then you could also be like Luke Rockwell. You be really good looking and be like the most dull person and stupid too.
So yeah, I guess gotta go for the extreme. Which one? I guess I'll say be funny. White meat or dark meat? I
I
think we're talking
assume-
about the real meat.
I
though.
think we're talking about chicken here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go dark meat.
So yeah, I used to always be a white meat chicken person because I didn't have too many dark meat. But damn, lately, like Bed cooks a lot of chicken
there's
thighs.
a
Chicken
difference.
thighs is way better.
Yeah.
way better.
It's a difference maker for sure.
Yeah, if you don't, yeah, I mean, dark meat has way more flavor. It's not dry.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is like white meat is dry.
Yeah, you could do some amazing things with the sauces. All right, chips and dip or chips with salsa.
Salsa.
Yeah, I think I'll choose salsa.
I don't know if I've ever had any kind of dip.
I've had like French onion dip. I mean, they're okay. There's lots of cheese type dips. But salsa's just lighter.
Yeah.
Goes well with drinking. Pepsi or Coca Cola. See, now this one's tricky because if it's just the colas,
Yeah.
but then the brands, because if it's brands, Pepsi to me is not even. It's not even close. I would choose Pepsi because of the Mountain Dew, all their other shit they got.
So I'm just thinking about the actual drink itself.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
probably
do the
gonna
drink
go.
itself.
See, it's weird because it's like
I'm a diet guy, so I'd be drinking diet Coke, diet Pepsi.
so Black History Month. There's some racial undertones there between Pepsi and Coke, and why a lot of black folks drink Pepsi versus Coke.
Pepsi definitely got the younger crowd, and Coke was like more traditional. They wouldn't change their ads for years. The Bears and the Coke.
I'm gonna go with Pepsi unless I'm drinking Jack Daniels.
I like Pepsi more, but they're both good.
Yeah, I mean, now that I really think about it, no, I honestly probably buy more Coke, but also I mix with Jack Daniels, so that's the only time I really drink
Jack
Coke,
and Pepsi just don't got the ring to it.
No, not at all.
Yo, let me get a Jack and Pepsi. They're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I mean, and I don't walk in the bar saying, "Let me get a Jack and Cola." What kind of dumb shit is that?
Yo, let me get a Jack and
I
RC.
feel like his wife is taller than him. Well, because those are the 125 champions, though. So all they watch are taller than him. All right, what's next?
That's a skinny French fries or thick cut wedges.
So I heard
This
thick,
could
and
be
I was
tricky.
like, "Oh." Yeah, that is all right. I'm gonna go with the thick cut. And what changed my life about that was Roy Rogers. I used to be a skinny fry guy, and then I would get the steak fries at Roy Rogers, and I remember I hated it. I was like, no. Then I realized, wait a minute, it's more fry.
I would like, if I could choose, crinkle cut from Winnie.
See, that's the thing.
I like the crinkle cut.
Like, where would that fall into the category?
I mean, it's
I feel like it's thicker.
thicker.
It's kind of in the
It's
middle.
got more surface area. That's why I read the why it has the crinkle, and then it's soft in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that would go towards the thick because the thicks got the like soft in the middle. The skinny fries are almost like McDonald's,
Like
which I do
Nicole
like
Richie,
McDonald's.
Paris Hilton back in the 2000s.
But I feel like besides the McDonald's, I don't like the thin fries.
No. Yeah, I think McDonald's is the only one that I can say I comfortably enjoy.
The next question: McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Ooh, depends on what my wallet looking like. Like tomorrow is gonna be a Taco Bell day, but like in most cases, I'm probably going to McDonald's.
Yeah, I would go to McDonald's more times than not.
There's more options on the McDonald's menu that I would eat versus Taco Bell.
Long hair or short hair for a girl?
Long hair.
Yeah,
Although I've been finding some of the short haired chicks kind of cutesy.
I like when it's edgy, like something like
Yeah,
not all short around. Like
it's gotta have some pizzazz.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be like a pixie cut like fucking Julia Roberts from Hook. It's gotta have personality, son. You can't don't come at me with a fucking bob. Like what the fuck is wrong with you, chick? Like I want something to grab onto.
Live without movies or live without music?
Fuck those movies. Like I need I need
Man, that's
music.
kind of tough though.
I thought it would be tough until I realized no, I love music. Like movies I enjoy, but like so at work or driving, like if I'm out and about, if I'm out for a jog, if I'm on the treadmill. If I'm on the treadmill, I can watch a movie. But it's like music can always be utilized. I can't always watch a movie. So as a matter of fact, like with my sleep mask, I have like the Bluetooth earbuds on the inside. I can go to sleep to music now again. I've been listening to Sam Smith's Unholy on repeat, going to bed now. just to fuck with Sarah. I play it loud enough so to make her mad.
I'll say music. So, be on a dating show or survival show. I think we're gonna agree.
um, I'm on a
Just
survival.
I would rather do the survival show, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
don't.
not-
I'm not feeling like if it was naked and afraid. I don't know if I'm feeling that.
Yeah, nah.
It's more so not the naked part; it's the no shoes and socks part.
Yeah.
Walking in the woods.
I want to watch it. Like I've heard of the show. I haven't actually watched it. I want to.
It's just funny they blur everything out, but they'll show their asses walking randomly.
I
Like
mean-
sometimes it's blurred out, and sometimes it's not.
So they do that with Survivor, like when the chicks run around in their bikinis and they'll blur out the front because like, oh, that's for sure camel toe. Like they don't want us to know, but we know. Yeah, I had to go on a survival show because at the very least, like dating shows are just fucking dumb. Like it's like
Yeah, you gotta do your little side interview. My name is Dante, and I like da 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 da.
my name is Jeffy and I like apples. Fuck those shows.
You know, it'd be funny how just some funny thoughts came in mind of people we know if they're on a date show. Would be hilarious.
Oh Jesus.
All right, bungee jumping or skydiving? Holy shit, I don't want
Neither.
One, but I think I would choose skydiving
Yeah, I'd probably go skydiving.
because I feel like I'm so high up. Maybe I can convince myself it's not real. Like the way
Bungee
it
jumping.
looks.
Well, my whole-
Bungee jump is too close to the ground.
Well, yeah, like bungee jumping too, you go down and then you like come back up.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
don't like
nah, yo. And then once I'm hanging there, you got to pull me back up. Nah, son.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm about to jump out, it's going to be easier for me to jump out of a plane than it is off a bridge looking at freaking rocks that close.
Yeah, I'm not into any of that.
Bonus. So that was our 13 this or that's. If you could reincarnate in someone else's body, who would you want to become?
I don't know, man. I think Eric Clapton fucked Sheryl Crow, and I like her a lot.
So Eric Clapton, you thinking like a music career? Like
Yeah. I just like Eric Clapton, though.
if I could reincarnate in someone else's body.
Yeah. Well, no,
This is
never mind,
tough.
because I think his kid died, and that was really sad. So I don't want to feel that. Like,
So I would say Michael Jordan, but then it was like he was just all business and basketball.
Yeah.
I don't think he had as much fun as he could have had.
he didn't have a lot of fun. He didn't seem like a fun guy. He was always like mad at people. It was like, damn, dude,
He loved
relax.
those grudges. Like, oh, I'm putting you on the list.
Yeah, yo. Like when I get to the Hall of Fame, I'm calling you out. Like, damn, dude, relax. It was fucking 7th grade.
Yo, I was bored of basketball, but then you looked at me funny. And that's all the motivation I needed that game.
Like, who'd he stare down? Charles Barkley talk about let's play 1-on-1? Like, recently. It's like, dude, relax.
I think it was Magic Johnson. He was like, yo,
Chill, son. He's
you
got
think
AIDS.
I'm joking?
He's got AIDS. He can't be playing ball, son. Chill. Yeah. Who would I legitimately reincarnate as? Jalen Hurts.
I didn't say it was.
But then he plays in Philly, though. That means he's got to be there too much. I don't know if I really want to be him. That's a tough question.
Yeah, nothing's kind of jumping to mind.
Like-
I feel like I want to be in some kind of. Let me be the DJ of one. And you know what? I'll just be DJ Lethal for the fun of it. He seems like he got to do a lot of partying with a lot of different people, and then he had like 5 different music careers.
It's like we're watching fights here in the background. I was like, I'd be a fighter, but never mind. I want to get punched in the face. Like that's your living is getting
Right.
punched in the head.
so we
So-
got what was it? DJ Lethal and
I'm gonna stick with Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. But what yell out? Oh, this is gonna be weird. All right.
All right.
I gotta clear my mind for a second. Yell out the first word that comes to your mind.
Sausages.
Nincompoop.
It was like I was thinking snarf, but
Yeah, there's this thing somehow when me and Babe, like she'll say something like, "Why are you so da da da?" And I immediately without thinking, I just say, "Why are you so blah blah blah?" And for some reason, I say this one word. It's snail. Why are you so snail?
oh, my go to, like anytime Sarah says anything, my go to is your mom. So that's all I ever really think about when somebody has something to say, your mother.
It was hilarious what Bea thought that's what she said jokes were. She didn't understand what they were and thought it always meant something about penis size.
Honestly, like I still don't even know what That's What She Says is about.
I remember not getting it at first, but then it's just
I mean, I get it,
hilarious.
but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I guess. Um, so I guess we can wrap that up. This is
That's what she said.
fucking cunt.
That would suck if she said that. We could wrap it up.
Well, I mean, shit. Sometimes I'm like, hey, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. It's like, you sure? All right, I'm gonna keep going. Like, I'm gonna get mine.
I was just thinking if she said you had to wrap it though.
Like, you ever see that one episode of Chappelle's Show? They like talk about the wrap it up thing. He has like and right now we have the wrap it up box, and they're in court, and someone's like giving their dissertation, and it just like wrap it up, B, and then it plays like the like Grammy music when you're going on too long, and then Dave Chappelle's like having sex with someone, and the chick like plays the wrap it up machine again. He was like, oh, not even close, not even close. It's like, oh, all right, hold on. Oh. And he goes, just playing. Let's get the fuck out of here. It was like one of the shorter episodes.
I bet.
It's about 2 hours. Like, if I wasn't feeling sick, we'd probably still be talking. But I feel like shit. But you know what's great? I'm gonna go eat those. I took 2 hot dogs yesterday and some chili.
Oh yeah, the hot dogs are amazing.
So I'm gonna go heat those up.
I meant to talk about that sometime. Some under foods you don't always think about when you're like naming your top foods, and hot dogs is one of them.
Dude, hot dogs always
I'm
tops on
always-
my list, son. Like it's
But when
never.
someone's like, "What's your favorite food?" I never think like hot dog. But
Well, that's the thing though too. It's like when somebody says, "What's your favorite food?" Like I usually think one thing. Although I got fucking cussed out on fucking Instagram by this one chick because she said, "What's your favorite horror movie?" and I gave 3. So fuck her, bitch. Anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna go eat those.
hot dogs are good.
I'm gonna eat those hot dogs and some of that chili. I'm gonna make some chili dogs. Even though I'm sick and I'm nauseous and I know I'm gonna throw up, it's the mouth pleasure. I just want to like stick phallic objects in my mouth. Okay.
I think we're done. We have no more leftover hot dogs. A little more chili, and then the chicken thigh tacos are gone.
So and I didn't even get any tacos
Those are
because
really good
I was looking at the chicken thighs. I was like, I'm not really sure what to do here, so I'm just gonna eat the hot dogs because it's simple. I know what to do here. Put hot dog in bun. Put some chili on the hot dog. They put a little bit of mustard and rock and roll.
It was one of the few tacos. Like, yeah, I didn't put anything on it. It was just fine the way it was on the.
Well, it looked good. I mean, it had a lot of
shell.
shit going on. And I was like, okay, it looks like a party. But either way, it was good stuff, good time, fun times. Thanks for having me over for the game. If I would have known they were bringing a kid over, I would have brought my kid and let the kids just entertain themselves in a corner. But even still a fun time, good time. I'm glad the Eagles lost because the fans are emotional now. So fuck them. They get to cry for a
I'm
whole
glad
year.
I won the one bet I didn't even know I placed. The last second. Because, I mean, I obviously know that was the last bet. The fact I bet $7.28.
It's kind of random, but okay.
That was everything in the count. It hit.
As always, thank you, motherfuckers, for listening. If y'all got any questions, concerns, criticisms, feel free to reach out to us. You can find us at bjj.wiki for Dante, Thor.Bentley for Steven, Colompton Beer Club for the 2 of us, and stay tuned for the Colompton Pickle Club. It's going down, y'all.
Man, we could make all types of great shirts. That funny shirts. There you go.
Yeah.
Colompton Pickle
There you
Club.
go. But otherwise, thanks, y'all. Y'all real cool. We like y'all. Thanks. Bye. Oh, wait.
Good soup.
Now bye, bitch.